All right, all right, all right. Well, the time has come. It's Monday night. It's time for another open court discussion in the counselor's corner. Wait a minute. Did y'all think we were not coming back after last week? Some damn fools in sheep's clothing if you thought we wasn't coming back. I'm your host, David Lorenzo Glover. Joining me, we don't have everybody on the panel. I don't know who's all going to join the panel. It is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to you all, whatever that means. So we got Herb Lewis, the big bad wolf.
Oh,
Right now we have the lovable Lakia Perry.
Hey, happy
Al-
Valentine's Day.
Also, who may be joining us is Willie A. Price, speaks the truth. Christine comes correct all the time. Maybe Anetta, life coach Williams, and the youngest in charge, Shaughnessy Andrews. So, but like I said, I don't know. It's Valentine's Day. People might be out and about doing their thing, trying to indulge in some love or whatever the case is. Yeah, I know
That's
me.
right.
I'm like Scrooge, so it don't matter. So, anyways, last week we had the topic of unwed pregnancies, shame or celebration. Man, oh man, it was wild. It was wild. We even we had the master teacher in there teaching BGS. We even had a cop show up on the panel. Officer Charles, he pulled up on the panel. But tonight we're going to start off with have you ever gone to therapy or considered going to therapy? So we know that a lot of us carry around malice in our hearts, in the need to kind of release that, or they always say secrets keep you sick. So, but a lot of times we harbor these emotions and never really express it to anyone, and it's just like a volcano ready to erupt at a certain point when you don't get a chance to get an opportunity to get these unresolved feelings out. So, especially in our communities, our culture, African American, Black culture, we don't take too, fond to, counseling or therapy. We figure that, we'll go to church. Some people, block it out by playing sports and different things like that, belonging to different social groups. And with the hope that that will kind of help us out. And some of us that it does work. So to each his own. But we're gonna talk about that subject tonight, and also we're gonna have three other essential talking points. Number two, why do we as people spend unnecessary money to entice those that don't love or even care about us? So I think that comes from maybe spending money with certain brands that really they're pretty much upfront that they don't care about us at all, and but yet and still we still want to spend our dollars with them. And I don't know, it's sort of like trying to keep up with the Joneses, but we all know the Joneses are really broke. Uh, so that's number two. Then number three, the sex toys enhance or take away from intimacy. So it is Valentine's Day, so it's gonna be some hopefully some love making going on or whatever the case is. And we thought it would be appropriate to throw in about some sex toys, whatever, or lack of, because some people may feel a certain way. Some guys may say, "Sex toy? What the hell you need a toy for?" And I'm here, like, stop playing with me. Do I look like a kid? Uh, so that's that. And then number four, why do so many of us fall under certain the theories, attachment theories, and these attachment theories is kind of based on when you were a child, the attachment that you had with your parent. Like if if they left for a certain time, like, or some parents might leave their kids with the grandparents for 2 or 3 days and don't come around. Then they show up and they wonder why the child is, acting funny or kind of like, I don't want to go to you. And, then they're thinking like, okay, what is my mom or dad doing to the child? But it's that attachment or that bond. So they start thinking like, damn, where the hell my mother at? She just left me. Uh, so it has to deal with that. So most of us probably will fall under the anxious attachment theory, um, disorganized, secure attachment. What's the other one? Anxious, disorganized, secure. I think that's it. I think that's it. I got my notes. Whatever. Avoidant attachment. So those are the four that you'll fall under. And as we go deeper, if we get to that point, we may get through it because guess what, folks? A timer. We're on a timer. So, and that's just based on feedback that I got. So another full slated thing, and wow, I don't know about y'all. It seemed like the talking points just seem to get better and better each time, get deeper and deeper. But we're here tonight, so please like and share the video, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. I think I'm at like 362. I'm trying to push to get to 400. The ultimate goal when your YouTube thing is to at least try to get to 1,000, and then that's when you set different parameters for yourself. But that's where I'm at, and it's a slow process. So that's where I'm at. And well, I ain't never set the timer. Y'all lucky, but I'm about to set it. Here we go. So from this point on, we're gonna set the timer for the introduction. So what's good with everybody? I mean, so far that's with us. Lakia, Herb.
Well, the train keeps rolling. I'm getting some pushback on my decision regarding the subject I've been talking about the prior 2 weeks, but I'm gonna keep moving.
So it's no let up on that one. You stuck to your deadline. You're gonna be firm with it, and that's that. No, like I'll give an extension or whatever, or I'll see what's what.
Well, the thing about that is this: when I spoke to the individual in question, they didn't want any background information on how we arrived at the point that we were. That's fine by me. But when you set that tone with me, I'll adhere to the tone that was set. And that's what I did. Now, if the individual needed more time, all they had to do was reach out to me. They didn't reach out to me at the initial conversation. I'll take you at your word. If you're gonna give me your word, if we're gonna operate as men, which your word is supposed to be above everything, then I'm gonna take you at your word. And for me, that's just it.
All right. Well, we're not gonna belabor that point. Lakia, anything good with you on this wonderful Valentine's Monday?
Everything is good. Everything. I'm just glad to be here. Today was a good day. I had meetings at work.
Everything
Somebody
Well, I
got their
didn't work.
volume up on two different things.
Somebody's volume is
Really? Work.
Yeah, Willie, you coming in with a lot of ruckus.
yes, several things. Okay. Okay.
That's not me.
Oh, it disappeared when I muted. It was you.
Yeah.
All right.
So it was good. It was a good day. I just got some chocolates from my daughter. She gave me a box of a bunch of chocolates, so that was so sweet of her. Just a peaceful, quiet day. So I'm just grateful for that.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Christine comes correct.
Hi, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Except you heard, because I know you don't celebrate it.
That's right.
I mean, he said so.
No holidays.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. I don't celebrate it either. I'm like Herb. I don't celebrate it anymore. I'm joining your crew, Herb.
Willie, you still got that feedback coming in.
I haven't had one in 4 years, so I'm not celebrating it either.
Somebody still got feedback coming in.
Really? Yeah, I feel that feedback.
It's you.
No, I was off. I just turned my mic on.
And it started back when you turned your mic on.
Do you have your YouTube feed up, the volume up? He's got himself muted now.
I muted him, but the feed, it's gone once. So it's something from his end.
Anyway, it's been a lovely day. I'm still trying to wake up from being up late for Super Bowl Sunday.
It did seem to run later than normal. I don't know why.
Now, my family didn't go home. That's why.
Oh, well, yeah. I got home about like 11:30, I think.
For Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, it was over about like 9:45, wasn't it?
Now, my family didn't go home. That's why.
Oh, well, yeah. I got home about.
Well, it's still you.
For Super Bowl Sunday.
You still got this feedback.
Turn your volume down, Willie. You should be able to hear us do whatever it is that you're listening to.
All right. So let's get back to a flow of this.
He doesn't know what it is.
Probably gonna have to log back out and come back in. All right. So interesting thing I just said, I was like, damn, I could have made somebody, and I just posted this a little while ago. So I'm at the store and this guy trying to buy some alcohol beverages, and I guess he was on the phone with his lady, probably trying to set the mood for the evening. And he like, baby, like I got $8. I got $8 for us to get lit. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, what the hell? You about to get some wild Irish rolls or some Thunderbird? And he was like, you want me to get the E&J? Yeah, Matt, something like that. And then I'm thinking like, dude, you're not going to get lit. You're not about to set the tone with that. Then when I end up leaving out and I got in my car, I had a few dollars and I was like, after I rode off, I said, I should bust a U-turn and go give him the money I got in my pocket just so he could have something to work with. But by that time, it was kind of over, and I kind of felt bad. It's like, man, I could have really set the tone for him that night, but because I'm like $8, that's not gonna get you too much. But again,
this is real lightweights.
Yeah. Yeah, again, these is the deal with some of the posts that I post, and people be thinking like, nah, that can't happen. That can't happen. But as you see, this dude had $8, still had a lady, and she was still working with him, trying to figure out what they could get for $8. But people are, oh, you bashing women, you do, and I'm like, I'm so over that stuff, whatever. Like, you can't make this stuff up. It's real. It's to the point that some of these women, they were saying that they don't know any guys that's on social services. So that's what they is. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? They're like, I don't know any guy. I never met a guy that was on social services. And I'm like, man, it's crazy.
I wouldn't say I've never met any, but I don't have any in my circles.
Well, they were acting like it was like an absolute, like I'm making this stuff up, but I got it directly from someone that's a case manager from social services, was telling me this data and telling me that a lot of guys on social services, they come to the building to pick up women, and these women end up taking them in because of some of the benefits that they get.
Oh wow.
So she was like, this been going on, and I'm like, you're bullshitting. And she was like, no, for real. They come up here, and some of these women, they end up getting with these guys because of the benefits.
So the women are getting with the guys for their benefits?
Yeah. Like they're moving in or they're getting with them and they're she said that's been a common thing. So
and that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, that door swings, well, it should swing both ways. Excuse me. Being that most of these state-run, federally funded programs are supposed to be income contingent, which is why we always talk about, whether a man should have to fight for X, Y, and Z or M, N, and O. These things are supposed to be there in place to assist someone who's in a position of need or temporary assistance from whatever it is that they're subscribing to, be it food stamps, or commonly referred to as the SNAP program, which is a secondary nutritional assistance program, or Medicaid, or any of the other programs, like I said, that are state ran, federally sponsored. So when you get in there, it buttresses up against the narrative of the man that's supposed to be able to financially support himself. So if you as a woman are dealing with a man who quote unquote can't financially support himself, then they'll ask, well, what kind of man are you dealing with? And we never know what situations bring two people together. Two people falling on hard times, she's falling on hard times where she needs some assistance, or if he's falling on hard times and he needs some assistance, because everything in everybody's life doesn't always go swimmingly. There are times that I've been without a job that I've actually had to ask for a break on the rent from my landlord just because of the way the situation worked out. It just so happens that things that were beyond my control when I sat down and factored things in didn't work out, so it left me scrambling. So nobody knows, unless they know these individuals peer to peer, can really say. I think a lot of what happens is we get into our own belief system, and like Christine said, nobody in our circle matches that description, so we shut down the discussion as opposed to listening and then going and doing some secondary research, or ask somebody like you did, Dave, who has firsthand knowledge of that, and they say, okay, this does exist. I'm just glad I don't have to. I'm just glad I don't fall into that circumstance, and I think that's a lot. Once we start to we suspend our personal beliefs, and we start to actually go in and look for those situations, you'll find it.
All right. So moving along, we actually hit that introduction time. I don't know why this damn thing didn't go off. It's already playing games with me. It's supposed to have beat to let me know. But anyways, I know we got 3 more people in, so I'm going to extend that and see what's going on with them. Master Barber, what's good with you?
You got to self-mute. Yeah, there you go.
What's going on?
Anything new with you that you want to share before we get rolling in this topic area?
No, nothing yet. I don't have anything new.
All right. Willie.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. You didn't send me the link, so I had to get the link off of the show. And so when I connected onto the link, I was already on the show in the background, and I didn't realize that until I clicked back off. So that's what that background was. I have something coming up this Thursday. I am kicking off the A Better You Lifestyle, which is a nonprofit organization. We're having our first event this Thursday called Pulling the Race Card, where we're bringing all the local community leaders and politicians and diverse community people to a location, and we're going to have a conversation on race relations and breaking barriers of race relationships.
All right. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Anetta.
Hi, everyone.
You are dialed
I
up.
am
Whatever.
actually
What's good?
Got her Valentine off.
Yeah, exactly. Damn, what's going on?
I'm just treating myself. I'm pampering myself, and I'm celebrating that my second book is coming out soon.
Congrats.
Breaking the Soul Ties.
Congrats.
So I'm like,
what's the name of it?
I'm here at the hotel for about 3 or 4 days just to kind of unwind and conduct some business.
Nice.
Right,
It's called Breaking the Soul Ties.
Oh.
Stuff.
All right. So Gwendolyn, happy Valentine's Day. Dietrich, peace and love to you. And hey, we about to get rolling to this topic area. So, like I said, got a lot of feedback from um, people on YouTube and regarding the show, and they were like, saying it was good content, but they were like, it was so much, it was hard to understand with people talking over each other and stuff like that, and and it gets chaotic, and I know people be passionate about certain topic areas, but also I wanted to, come back and provide structure. So I'm thinking is that, we would have like when we get ready to start that we would have like 3 minutes to kind of state your point about the question, whatever the question is, or if you don't really have anything pertaining to that particular question, if someone in the chat is engaged with conversation and they're saying stuff, you may comment on something from the chat. Once your 3 minutes is up, we're gonna move it along because if you think about it, any of those other shows that you see, and again, I always make reference to sports shows. They kind of be on a timer. They kind of be on a timer, and then the moderator will be like, "Okay, that's it," or we about to go to break, or we got to move to the next segment. But because I'm such a nice guy and so passive and just sit back and chill, I kind of let things go on. And now it's time for me to put my foot down.
Put it down, put it down.
So
3 minutes is a long time.
Actually, it is. It is.
It's a very long time.
But you kind of, the lights is bright. So now you, and hopefully it won't be people going back and forth, and you'll be able to express your point in those 3 minutes. And some of you might not need the 3 minutes, and you may say that's all. Then we just move on. But some people get long-winded over certain subject matters. So that's where we're at. So we're gonna get rolling. And again, the first thing is, have you ever gone to therapy or considered going? In what circumstances do you think therapy is needed? So who would like to attack that first?
I'll go first. I think I've developed this adage, and I've said this: problems you can work out yourself, issues you need to seek therapy. And I know that sounds rather simplistic, but for me, personally speaking, it is. There are some things that we all as individuals need to work out within ourselves so we can function day to day and cope with some situations that might happen at work, that might happen between peers, happen within your family, or happen that you don't need to seek therapy. And it could be just a disagreement, a philosophical difference, like I've had the philosophical difference with the situation that I've been dealing with for about the last night with my brothers. We understand that ultimately it's a personal decision, regardless of all the input I get, the feedback I get, it's still my decision. And they're going to defer that to me whether they like it or not, because we understand that's the dynamic in our family. You have some people, unfortunately, they don't have that type of structure and that cohesiveness, and it causes fractions within the family unit. This is why when we get together as people, regardless of the ethnicity around holidays, those unresolved issues, they bubble up, they cause fractures, and then they say, you need to go seek therapy, when in actuality, it may not be the individual that they're talking about so much as it is within themselves. Because if you can't allow somebody to have a position without being so critical of them, then I would surmise that you ask, what is it that's within me that won't allow that individual to have that position, and just leave it at that.
All right. So are you done with that, Herb?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go. Now, so you said the first part was if you ever gone or if you need to go. What was it? How'd it go?
Have you ever gone to therapy or considered going? Then I said, in what circumstances do you think therapy is needed?
Okay. Well, first part, I actually have gone. I actually went to a relationship therapist. Somebody convinced me to do that. That was actually an interesting event because I was reluctant, and they asked me would I go to this relationship therapist so we could work out our relationship. But when we got into the therapy, I thought it was working well because I found out a lot about myself in relationships, but the person actually only wanted me to go because they had a question that they wanted to ask me, but they knew I wouldn't answer it honestly unless I was in the therapy session. So once I answered the question, she dropped out of therapy and I had to stop going. But I thought it was very helpful, and I wish that I could have gone or would have gone to therapy after my divorce. So in my situation, I think it can be helpful because sometimes you go through things where you you don't know how to address it. I have a degree in mental health, and I know, a lot of times I try to self therapy myself, and sometimes that doesn't work. And I think, like Doc was saying when he came on that day, about sometimes you keep asking that question why about things, and when you keep asking that question about why, you tend to stay into that relationship. You stand focused in that relationship, trying to figure things out as to why certain things happen. But when you can go to therapy and talk about what you went through, you have someone who's trained to be able to help you to overcome some of the things you may be going through without asking that question why, which is what he was saying. So for me, I think therapy is always it benefits you, depending on the person though. But I also think about how in a lot of minority communities, we're not encouraged to go get therapy. We're looked at as something's wrong with us if we got therapy, or you don't want to be telling people your business, or all these other, excuses of why you shouldn't go through therapy. And then you have children and people becoming older. As they get older, they start going through these issues and reacting certain ways to certain situations, not understanding why they're doing that, sometimes not even realizing that they're doing some of the things they're doing because they've been treating themselves or hiding a situation that they didn't know how to overcome. And something happens and triggers that reaction from them, or brings back that memory of whatever that hurt or pain was. And then they act out and think it's normal because that's the only way they've been able to deal with a situation is by acting out. So for me, I think therapy is very beneficial to a person who's willing to go get it, but you have to be willing to go get it and not worry about the stigma or the concerns of what other people on the outside are thinking, and just go and take care of yourself. Because I definitely wish I could have gone after my divorce. It took me 3 years basically to get back on my feet, trying to self-diagnose and self-treat myself. I'm done.
That's a wrap, Willie. Good job. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. So I almost said no. And what Willie said reminded me, I went to a relationship therapist before too. And it wasn't that I've never considered it. I definitely considered it. When my dad died, I went through a deep depression. And then and I really didn't know what hit me. I didn't know what depression was, but I found out. And then, but I didn't go to therapy or anything. And then I think like 9-10 years later, when my grandmother died, I started going into depression again, only this time I recognized it. And I thought about going to therapy, and I ended up going to Jamaica instead, which turned out to be great therapy. But relationship therapy, and that was something, this is what that taught me. It's useless if you're not going to be honest. If you are not going to tell the truth, don't waste your time or money. And the person I went with, and it was their idea, but I think their goal was that they thought that the therapist was going to side with them and tell me everything that was wrong with me. Didn't work out that way. And they were totally not honest about things with themselves. And we had discussed it. We said we were gonna, that nothing was off the table. So when I said certain things, let certain things out about him, he was like highly upset. And anyway, it was a total failure. So my thoughts are, I think therapy is good and can be good, but if you're not going to be honest, don't waste your time or money.
All right. You had time.
That's sort of what I went through too. That's sort of what she just said. That's how the person I was with, they convinced me to go because it was certain things they thought the therapist was going to agree with her on. And she wanted to find out certain things. And then once she found out what she thought she wanted to know, then she was done with therapy because the therapist started, telling her to look at herself. And she didn't want to hear that. She just wanted to hear my response to some of the things she brought out in the therapy. So she didn't go in there being honest.
So everybody on the panel, please like and share the video. We got to like it first. I mean, so we should have more than one like and share.
I tried to find the post on your group page, and it wasn't there when I was looking previously. Just so you know, I was trying to.
The algorithms have been messing up on Facebook lately too. I'm seeing things that are 2 or 3 days late.
Like I'm on it now, and it's not showing the show. Oh. And I was trying to, but it's not there. So, But just to chime in, I too have had some counseling, and I do find counseling is very helpful to discuss what's going on with you, so that with someone that that would not have a biased opinion of you and a biased thoughts towards what you're saying, and that can help advise you accordingly to your situation. But also, for me, I worked in mental health for 15 years. So I've been around mental health for a long time, in the environment of working with therapists and doctors. And one of the things that I have learned for me that works has been definitely the foundation, my faith foundation is what helped me grow significantly to who I am today. There are things that's happened in my life that has caused me to have to revisit some things and get it back in alignment, into an alignment with what I know to be and do. But therapy is definitely counseling. And I'd rather use the word counseling than therapy, because to me, it's someone that's advising. It's more of a counseling for me. It's like sharing, ideas to help me cope with whatever I'm dealing with. But I think that even the word therapy is what scares people. So maybe counseling for me is just a better way of approaching it, and helps me feel a little bit more comfortable in it, and having it from people that I know that have some experience in life. And that's important to me as well. It does matter for me who have had life experiences to be able to help me in where I'm going through. I want to hear not just book, knowledge, but life experiences is that helps us understand how someone can overcome and get over, or be victorious, or be able to deal with or cope with whatever word you're going to use, whatever was happening in your life. So that's my take on it.
All right. Annetta or Master Barber? Oh. Any of y'all got anything to say about therapy?
Hey everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear
Yes.
you.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine.
Happy Valentine's.
I'm not real big into Valentine's, but I wanted to make sure that my single girlfriends was loved on for Valentine's Day. So I kind of invited some of them up here and did the chocolate and the wine and stuff like that with them to let them know to love on themselves.
What about your single friends, fellas?
What you say?
What about the single fellas?
I'm empowering the women
for
right
them.
now. Huh?
It wasn't for them.
Thank you, Christine, for supporting me in that measure. Okay.
Now, see, I'm gonna jump in here and I'm gonna ride on Willie's coattails and say,
Right.
when men do something and they exclude women, we don't want to hear any back chat because this is just explicitly what we talk about when we talk about males only groups. So if you see one on Facebook and you can't get in, reference this point.
I'm okay with that.
I am too.
I'm all about empowering men and women. Unfortunately, I'm at a hotel. You can't have men at your hotel, or they're gonna think something. So it's just for the women. Okay.
I won't think nothing.
We know you.
Really?
Anyway, let me stick to the question.
Oh, go ahead and talk on your point. I'm sorry.
Yes, the talking point, because you're taking away from my 3 minutes. Okay. So I'll say this. I'm very open for counseling, as you both know, as everyone know. I do behavioral mental health as a behaviorist and a nurse and a life coach. I think as the African American culture, we are instructed that counseling is not healthy for us because it's involving someone in our personal business. And so we kind of live by that motto: what happens in the house stays in the house. But I've learned that with that model, if molestation happened in the house for the child, they become molested adults that end up having issues with relationships. If you have a young girl who never had a relationship with her father, then she tends to have voids that she wants men to fulfill. And the same thing for a man. If he doesn't have a good relationship with his mother, he tends to not have respect for women. So I'm a key component, and I solely believe in counseling. I also believe that the counselor needs a counselor. So I do see someone every month. I'm an advocate for that. At one point, I was seeing them twice a week because sometimes I felt like I was going to kill somebody. So I had to make sure that I seen somebody, especially after my divorce, because there is a silent rage that becomes very loud. So you have to be able to sit down and talk to somebody and communicate with them and be able to understand how to. We never can control our feelings or our emotions, but you can manage them. And that's what counseling does. It gives you the tools to be able to manage your emotions and manage how you think, to be more rational and not to be ready to launch, but ready to listen. So that's what counseling does. And it also helps with maturity as well, with the life experiences and different things like that. But I solely believe in counseling. I believe that everyone needs counseling. We all have some type of dysfunction in our families. No one is sitting here and say that they don't have a dysfunctional family. We all have some type of dysfunction that requires us to have counseling.
You know, let me follow that point up. It's funny you say that because we were at one of my older brother's friend's house, and he was saying how he didn't have what we have in terms of being able to openly communicate and have contentious discussions without them becoming adversarial. But the difference between his immediate family makeup was he was one of, I think, like four or five children, and most of them were females. So he didn't have the bonding that we did. I mean, I think like 5 girls, 3 boys versus 8 boys, 3 girls. So we came up through that. No matter what happened outside of the family, we dealt with things internally. So there was never any animosity that wasn't put out there. There was always that we're going to put it on the floor, we're going to discuss it, and this is what it is. And I think that lack of family structure, it can either help or it can harm depending on whether it's there and how it's dealt with. You have some people that don't deal with looking internally first as the problem. This is something I was going to say after Willie has spoken about him going to see couples therapy. Be aware when somebody else is projecting their issues upon you. You have a lot of people that do that, and I've witnessed it, being that I've worked with the public for almost better than 30 years. A lot of people will project their insecurities and their issues upon you, saying you need to seek therapy. And this is something I mentioned earlier. So just be aware of that.
All right. So, as far as me, here we go. Here we have it. As far as counseling, I've been through some things growing up, and like I said, I always found ways to kind of try to block it out, staying busy, whether it was sports, school, and I never sat down and talked to anyone. And part of it is because there's that trust factor. Me, I'm like an onion. You got to peel layers off of me to get something out of me. So it's no way for me that I'm just gonna go in there and just start releasing information, especially when I know the tools and the tricks to it. So there, and you can't knock it till you try it. And that is right. They say most counselors need counselors, and but it would have to be, and not that I even seeked out anybody to say this would be a good match. This would be somebody good for me to talk to. I never got to that point because I always said I'll probably hijack the session. I'll hijack the session and end up counseling them. So that is no excuse for why I haven't, but that's kind of where I'm at. That I haven't done it, and I know that probably deep down inside, I probably should get a unbiased opinion, but I just keep it moving. And and if we get to that segment about the attachment theories and the different things like that, um, some of that conversation will come up. So for me, I just haven't reached that point that I felt like I want to sit down with someone. And again, like I said, it's different forms of it, but as far as actually sitting in somebody's office and talking, I haven't got to that point. Haven't got to that point yet, and maybe that's part of my growth or something. I need to be made to feel uncomfortable and do, but I haven't got to that point. But I know that it does work. It depends on the counselor and the connection and the relationship building that you have. So I would never tell nobody not to do it. I'm just saying, for me, I haven't got to that point that I wanted to sit someone, because I would have to actually probably search and find that, I ain't gonna say perfect person, but at least someone that I think can match what I'm looking for and that I want to feel comfortable with. Because the trust issue is a big thing to me in the relationship building. Shaughnessy, what's good?
Hey, Sean. Happy Valentine's Day, Shaughnessy.
Same to you all.
All right. So I don't know when you join us. Right now we're talking about therapy. Have you ever, went to therapy? Were recommended
I
by
have
someone to
went
go
to
to therapy?
therapy. I have went to therapy. I do recommend therapy, but I also think it's just as important to find the right therapist. Initially, when I went to therapy, the person tried to tell me I had daddy issues, and I was just like, so out of everything I just told you, you're going to say that I have daddy issues because me and my father fell out from the time I was 14 and a half ish until like right before I was turning 16. And then we fell out again when I was 18 till I was 19. And when we fell out, the first time I felt like I kind of felt abandoned when my mom passed away. I didn't see my dad for like 6 months, and it was completely weird because my dad was in my life. And he was going through his own grieving processes. Him and my mom were still very, very good friends, and he was literally like, we finally went to therapy, and he was like, every time you talk and every time I see your sister, it's your mother, and I can't deal with it. And as we went to therapy, we completely understood that, and it was no problem. We were just like, oh, it made us feel completely better. Like, okay, this was his grief process. He wasn't away from us because, and when I say away from us, it's not that we didn't speak to him. We spoke to him every day via text. It was completely weird. He would text us. He would know when we had our days off of school. He would know when report cards was on, but we could never it was never on the phone. It was never in person. Then after that, we would see him all the time. Then when I fell out with him again was when I was pregnant with my son. And of course, he knows my goals. He knows my aspirations. And he was just like, I'm confused at how you going to go to med school with a baby. And he told me there was other options, and I completely was pissed off about it, because basically he was telling me to abort my baby, and I mean, I get it from a father.
Let me ask a quick question, Shaughnessy. Is that what he said, or is that what you felt?
That's what he meant.
No. Is that what he said?
No, he did not say
Okay.
that. He told me there was other options. He never said that. He told me there was other options. And after that, I did not talk to him. Of course, he was at my baby shower. And it was kind of like, oh, hey. And then my son was really sick when he was born. And I hadn't spoke to him. He was getting word and all that other stuff from my sister, my aunt, my grandmother, all that stuff. And then he popped up. He was in South Carolina at the time. I had an emergency C-section, blah, blah, blah. Son was really sick. He popped up literally in the middle of the night. Drove all the way from South Carolina, came to see my son, and was completely ecstatic. And it kind of was like, oh, I thought you didn't want me to have this. It was kind of like, I didn't want you to have me. I thought you didn't want me to have this baby. And then once my son was sick and all that other stuff, he literally moved to Baltimore. And ever since then, my dad has lived in Baltimore, never had a yearning to live in Baltimore, never wanted to live in Baltimore, but he completely moved to Baltimore and is now still an active part of my kids' life, our lives, all of that. And this therapist tried to tell me that I had daddy issues, and I was just like, no, me and my father's good, I promise you. That's not it. I can tell you that I don't forgive people easily, but I've forgiven my father. It's okay. Me and my father's okay. I just want to know, and I think I've shared this before, when I have a problem with people, they are dead to me. When I say I kill them and bury them and pretend that they in heaven so I can't speak to them no more. And that was kind of what I was trying to get to. And it was just cut off as, oh, you have daddy issues. And after that, I was just like, all right, this therapy is done for me. But I do still recommend therapy. Hopefully you find the right person and you can get into some things.
Did you ever find a different therapist?
I started talking to a friend that is a therapist. So it was very informal, but had she helped me with some things? Yes, definitely. And then by the time I really wanted to go back to therapy and dedicate the time to it, COVID, and it is crazy. Even when you get on Talkspace and stuff like that, it's so hard to get an appointment. And it seems like it's more stressful to get a therapist than to actually, I don't know. It seemed like more of a stress, saying okay, I want to go to therapy, and actually finding a therapist was more stressful. So I was just like, ugh, please leave me alone. I just talked to my little homegirl. When I'm feeling a certain way, I'll text her, I'll call her, and she'll tell me why this and why that. And I found my way that way, but I do still want to get an actual therapist. I just have to dedicate the time to it. Really. Finding out who matches with me.
And the problem sometimes, even with the friendship thing, is, you just never know. You never know that one friend. Like, hopefully, everybody has that one friend that's kind of open. They're not a yes man. They're not. They have a balance, not a no man. That they have a balance. They're gonna listen to the issue, and they're gonna keep it real, and they're not gonna always scrutinize you for anything or take the information that you share and run with it or spread with it. And I think part of that is a big issue too, because you never know. You might have one person, one or two people that may be like, I'm good. My stuff is good with them. And I like the way they make me feel when I express things to them. But for the other part, some people they just like to, you know, create more havoc once they get information from you, and it turns into personal entertainment for them.
Mhm.
So you have to
Oh
be
yeah, I'm
mindful
lucky
of that
enough. Yeah,
case.
she doesn't. Yeah, she takes her, although she's not being paid for it, and she's pretty much just doing it as a friend. She doesn't even really know. I met her when I moved to Virginia Beach, so she doesn't know anybody that I know really. So her opinions are really impartial, and sometimes she's like completely harsh, like probably harsher than a real freaking therapist would be. She will tell me straight up, "No, you're being a bitch. Like, no, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. You need to figure out why you feel that way, but you cannot project that on others." So I can
Yep.
appreciate that, but again, and then we don't have my insurance doesn't she doesn't accept my insurance, so I would do it for real, but unfortunately that insurance thing.
And that
But
and that is
therapy is
one
definitely good.
and that is one of the things, the cost and all that stuff on why people don't do it. But we got the what's your name on it? The Armenian princess Anita. Um, I don't know how much you heard, but we're talking about we're talking about therapy. And have you ever gone to therapy or considered going? And I don't know if you heard the introduction, but we're saying we're kind of trying to do uh, a timing thing that people have 3 minutes to speak, and then we move it forward. But it's been kind of quiet, low key. Everybody's been under control right now, so I let it go on a little bit. But you know how it is in the counselors going. That shit could change with the quickness. So if you would like to
I just
give
wanted
your
to hear what
feedback.
y'all had to say about the sex toys.
Oh well, we ain't get to
We're
that
talking
point
about
yet.
sex. Oh goodness.
Jumping the gun.
Yeah, we ain't get to that point yet.
Um, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I believe in counseling. I was in the military for 12 years, so I'm kind of every now and then a different Armenian princess comes out. So there was a lot of stuff that I had to work through. Um, Getting out of the military and being in the military. Even before the military, I went to counseling. There was a lot of family situations, like my parents divorcing, and then my stepfather wasn't really acting right. He was an alcoholic. Well, his alcoholism was, I guess, low key. I guess he was like a closet drunk when him and my mom got together, and then it progressed like really bad to the point where when my mom went to work, I had to take care of my baby sister. Then when we left that situation, we went to family counseling. Me, my mom, and my sister, but my sister was like really too young to understand anything that was going on. Um, and then throughout the military, on and off, I went to church. So that was a good support system. It was non-denominational, so it was comfortable because like everybody else in the church was, mm, in the military culture and the military way of life. So we kind of understood some of the same struggles that we were all having with like being away from our family and military life and deployment and field training. And it's just a different lifestyle altogether. So that was helpful. Our chaplain was helpful. Um, I believe in counseling, but counseling, let me see, how would I say this? Just going to counseling is like a good release, like venting. But if you don't do the, I'll say, shadow work on yourself, like it's not really going to help. You're just going there to vent, and
Absolutely.
you're not really getting, you're getting something out of it as far as like feedback and venting. But if you don't do the homework on yourself, like what's really going to change?
Right.
So that's one of the things I had to learn throughout the military, going to counseling for this, that, and the other, is that it helps, but when they give you homework to work on yourself, like that's still part of the process. All in all, it was really helpful, but I'll say this: it's helpful to get the right counselor or the right I don't know, psychologist, because if you don't, if everybody has a different style, every client has a different way of perceiving information and giving information. So if you're not comfortable with your counselor or psychologist, like it's really not going to help. Um, so you have to find somebody that you are comfortable building that rapport with, and and I think that'll help even more.
Right. So so we pretty much the first segment we kind of touched on most of the points. If you have gone to therapy, do you feel it was helpful? If you haven't gone, has anyone ever suggested it, and what are some of the reasons why you would not go? So I think I don't want to beat this into you know beat this dead horse. So we're gonna move on to the next segment, which is, why do we as people spend unnecessary money to entice those who don't love or even care about us? And this talking point was suggested by the master barber. And I don't know, he disappeared. But I mean, you could take it in different ways if you think about it. And one of the things when he sent me the video. What's his name? I don't know all these damn rappers. Um, it was one of the rappers in the Gucci store that was spent like $29,000 or something. Him and his crew.
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, yeah, I don't know. All these
Oh my
Joneses, as
goodness.
the Joneses is broke to me. So, so, and I guess they didn't even acknowledge that they was in there and they were in the store for hours. And you kind of think like, why the hell you would be somewhere for an hour? You spending all this damn money and they don't acknowledge you. But why do we do that? Uh, and that's the thing. That's and the master barber just popped back up. So the spotlight is on you, master barber. We're talking about the situation. Why do we as people spend unnecessary money to entice those that don't love or even care about us? So you're gonna lead off this segment. Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah. um, Now that I think about it, though, when I was younger, that used to be the thing, and it never really made no sense to me. Whether it could be something small as the new Jordans or whatever, or just trying to portray to be somebody that you're not. You know, going out shopping or anything to the point where it's like, oh, I'm gonna get this because I want people to hate on me. You know what I mean? And that never made any sense. Like, why would you want to bring, saying that type of attention to yourself? Not knowing that we're just setting ourselves up to be a target, but a lot of times we do as individuals buy things just to get a reaction out of people that don't really care about us, man. And that just seemed to be a problem for me. As I gotten older, but I kind of shied away from it, not knowing like how ridiculous that sounds though. It could be something as small as buying rims for your truck or something, you know. So that's basically what I was hitting on, like that. You know, why do we spend countless dollars or you know, to entice people that we don't like or care about us?
I think it could be a mix of two. I think it could be self-esteem, lack thereof, or it can be just something that you personally like. Um, I myself, as I've gotten older, I shied away from buying every pair of Jordans because I have real bills and I don't care. But every couple of times, I will buy my kids those pair of Jordans that I like, but it's because I like them, and it's not necessarily for anybody else. But I do get the point that people do buy things and it is for self-esteem. They want to make themselves appear as something or make themselves seem worthy to the outside world because they don't really feel like that inside.
What is that, like lack of validation?
I guess you would say that, yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but
I
they're not
guess.
validated unless somebody acknowledges it.
Acknowledge it, right?
And most
That's
of the
true.
time, because of our pop culture, we acknowledge it.
Status symbols.
Yeah,
They
most of the time we acknowledge it. I remember specifically there being not as handsome boys that we went to school with, and they made it their business to dress their tails off. And guess what? They dressed their tails off, and they got the same kind of girls that all the handsome girls got. I mean, handsome boys got because
Of their dress.
they had what they had, and that dress, I guess, would validate them or kind of make them more popular, or so to speak.
You
I
know
think it's
what? What
self-esteem.
I was gonna say, you know what I've learned as I've gotten older, that it's the opposite. Like those that flash is really broke. Those that got it don't flash.
I can agree to
Well,
that.
if you look at most of your wealthy people, your millionaires, your billionaires, you don't see them walk around with Gucci and Louis Vuitton and all that stuff. The most wealthiest people in this world, in this world, I'll say, you wouldn't even know they're a millionaire, billionaire if you would see them walk down the street, because that they don't look for approval through status and materialism. They look through
But we
approval
can go
through
even
the
less than
people that they
that.
never. Huh?
I said we
What
can
was
go
that?
even less than that to people that are making 80K or less, right?
Yeah, but
They'll
I
have
mean,
one
but normally,
person.
yeah, but I understand that's true. You know, you have people that make less than that too. But I just use those as an example because you're looking at someone who's a billionaire, and then you're looking at somebody and they don't wear any of that stuff, and then you're looking at someone who barely paying their bills and they going out trying to buy everything to garner attention and create a status or an image that they can't even live up to. You know, you have people driving a $100,000, $80,000 car and living at home with their parents, or living, you know, in an apartment with 3 roommates. You know, so you have to look at, you know, why are they doing the things they're doing? And a lot of people, those people are you normally see doing that are people that's really struggling. If you really look
Well,
at their
What
lifestyle, they're really struggling.
but
what
are they doing it because because this is something that's important to them and that's what they enjoy, or are they doing it like Master Barber suggested to so that other people will notice them
Yeah, for
and
the
think
status,
a
for the
certain
status
way?
symbol.
Because
And some people do
sometimes,
buy certain things. I'm sorry.
yeah, just because this is what they want to enjoy.
Right.
You know,
Some
so
people
I
do
think
Right.
that
buy
your
certain things like
motivation
that. Yeah.
behind it is what really dictates. Are you doing it because this is something you always wanted, that you wanted to enjoy, or are you doing it because, man, wait till they see me in this?
right.
Well, you know,
What
sometimes it ends up being a combination. Like you may have a person who's
Yeah.
has shoe fetish, and they have hundreds of shoes. You know, they're buying those shoes because they like shoes, or they're buying those purses because they like, you know, hundreds of purses. But at the same time, when they get ready to go out the house, they put in that purse and say, "Wait till they see I got the latest, you know, the latest Louis Vuitton purse or the latest that purse." So it's like a combination for a lot of them. It may not start out that way. You know, it may start out as just a fetish, but then after a while it becomes that status symbol too, because now you know every time you walk out, somebody's looking to see, all right, what shoes she got on, what, you know, because they know that's what she's into. All right, what if she got the latest shoes on, she got the latest purse, she's got, you know, he's got the latest, you know, suit, you know, he's got the latest style, whatever, you know. So then after a while it becomes actually like a burden to you. You think about it, you know what I mean? Because you may want to come back down, but because you don't
want people to think you fell off.
Exactly. Now you done fell off. Exactly. He done fell off. Now you can't, you know. And so now you're forced to be in a situation that you can't live up to anymore.
Now let me say this. And I know people are like, what happened to the 3-minute thing? I'm sorry. That shit wasn't working. Whatever. It was stupid. I like chaos.
Well, there's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference between having back and forth dialogue that works like this and somebody monopolizing the time where somebody else can't speak.
So therefore we have to know that we can't dominate a conversation, but that it just wasn't working. I wasn't feeling my normal self. I like the back and forth. I like the debates, but we can't have somebody talking for 15 minutes straight. You have to understand that it's other people that may have something to say. So now, even when y'all talk about the statuses of, like me, I'm a hat person, but I'm not a hat person like these people all of a sudden now with hats on and all of that stuff out of nowhere. I started wearing hats because of my birthmark, because I always got questioned like, what is that on your head? Did you have surgery? Did you get burnt? So as younger growing up, I would be able to hide it because I had like an afro or whatever, but my hairline would always grow crooked because of my birthmark. And I got a lot of ridicule. A lot of people, you know, my friends and all that stuff would say stuff, oh, you got a crooked edge up and all that stuff. Whatever. I would handle it in the light. And then at night, I probably would cry and be upset about it. But I obviously couldn't release those tears in front of them. But then as I got older, I would, you know, start getting into hats and stuff. And then when I started trying to, you know, create my own brand, one of my teachers, he said, yo, that fedora thing, that's you, whatever. I know you wear the Apple Jacks and there's different stuff like that. He said, but that's the controversial counselor, the fedoras, those type of hats. That's in your element. So I'm like, okay. So I started purchasing more. But now with all these other people trying to be validated in the trends and all that stuff, whatever, I'm like, I got to come up with something else because this shit getting ridiculous when you start seeing 90-year-old women with red bottom hats on and all that.
But I mean, it's been you. It's always gonna be. As long as it's been you, it's always been you.
That's your brand.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just,
that's your brand.
But you know, and I think a lot of people now looking for validation because of trends. Like you say, when Jordans come out, they say, I got to have a pair of them because my rival has a pair of them, or like certain cars or whatever the case is. If that's what you live in your life based on what other people have and what they're doing, you always gonna somehow be behind the 8 ball trying to compete with somebody like that. So do you, and don't worry about that. But too many of us do that.
Right. But then,
David, wait, hold on. That's like with me. I got a high-end cologne fetish. I buy colognes because I know certain people, like, they won't go out and buy it because it costs too much. But it's to my liking, though. You know what I'm saying?
I like
smell good. That ladies killer is a beast.
I like. Oh, go ahead. I like Coach purses. So when I go shopping, like say I need a new T-shirt or whatever, I am so proud to go to Walmart and get that $3 clearance T-shirt so I can save that $17 towards my Coach purse. I love getting deals. I would like tell my friends, "Oh my God, I got this $3 clearance T-shirt from Walmart."
There's a clothing company, to what Anita's saying. There's a clothing company, Dave, Lakia, Willie, even you guys might remember this brand called Sims. Sims' slogan was, "An educated consumer was our best customer
That's customer.
because they would discount items to the point where they got to be about 60 or 70% off, even though these were name brand items. And I think what we have to realize, and Shaughnessy alluded to this earlier, is that we are a culture that's predicated on impulse buying. Why do we think they use athletes and celebrities to market to us? If you look at the way we're marketed to versus Asians, Hispanics, and Caucasian people, they use everyday, ordinary, run-of-the-mill people to do their commercials. Think about when they sell a Cadillac to black people. Who are they using?
Celebrity.
Versus when they're selling a Lexus, who are they using? Versus when they're selling a Ford, who are they using? I myself, I'm sort of like Dave. I've always purchased jerseys. As a matter of fact, right now I have about close to 400 jerseys in my closet of various sports things. But I've also purchased some of those jerseys. Like I have a Mitchell and Ness Michigan State Magic Johnson jersey that would normally retail for $450. I got that jersey for about $60, $70. Those jerseys rarely see the day of light because I understand the value in that.
Hold up. Magic Johnson, one of my greatest heroes. And you ain't never brought your ass on here with that Magic Johnson jersey? Man, I always see this damn Philadelphia jersey. Where the Magic jersey at? Come on, stop playing.
I got a Magic. I got a Kareem UCLA. I got some gems up in there. I'll have to show it to you one day. But that's my point.
I would be very
We as a people.
He sound like he gonna jack you for it.
I'm not worried about that. Hey, you know the funny thing about it is, I've been known to give away certain things to certain people, and it's like that was mentioned earlier. I have no problem with buying people things.
Let me get that
are close to me that I actually have that kind of love for, if you will. But we have a lot of people that try and buy their way into somebody else's heart, as opposed to just genuinely being accepted for who you are. And I think that becomes a mask that we wear. If I can't get you to like me organically, then I'm going to buy your love. And I think that's what gets a lot of people caught up, is they start wearing something to attract people as opposed to just attracting some people based on what they are. And I tell people all the time, and I'm considered somewhat of an asshole for this, is you don't like people. I say, no, I'm not going to be inauthentic. So if you want to be around me, you're going to be around me because you like something about me. I have no problem. And people will say, well, this is a question. This is why you need to seek therapy. I have no problem with being by myself because I love me more than anybody else in this world. I'm number one whenever it comes to anything. And I think a lot of people struggle with, when do I put myself first versus when do I put myself second? Always put yourself first. In that situation, my opinion, you can never go wrong. Because if you're dealing with somebody who's going to treat you as if you're that value, they're going to understand that you putting yourself allows them to work within their capacity to put themselves. So especially if you're in a couple, whether it's male, female, 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 if they put themselves first, it's going to help you because you're going to align. You're going to understand that people do things for their benefit, and their benefit should indirectly help you and vice versa.
If I can just jump in real quick.
I also think that sometimes people have their own perception, and because it's your perception, it doesn't mean it's my reality.
Right.
And many times, I mean, I can speak for myself. I'm a Fendi, I'm a Louis Vuitton, I'm a okay, that's just me. I don't have a problem with somebody telling me I'm a brand person. I know I'm a brand person. You can't tell me something I don't know about myself. I do it because I love brand, okay? But to some other people, they may think that I'm trying to impress or whatever. I'm not trying to impress. One of the biggest things about me is I will buy the brand purses, and then 6 months later, I'm giving a clothing giveaway and purse giveaways because it doesn't, I'm not caught up on material things. I just like to look nice, okay? And I'll buy a slew of things and then give things away because I know one thing, I can't take it with me when I cross over. But I think a lot of times we have to be honest. Women dress for other women. We don't dress for
I've always said that.
But that's just fact. No, women dress for other women. Period.
That was the point that I was making. That if
y'all don't never throw nothing for a man
because it's something you enjoy.
No, Dave, because we try to get them naked. We ain't worried about that.
I do. I that's not my testimony. I dress for a man. But I dress for myself. But go ahead,
At
Christine.
least
You was
you
talking
honest.
first.
Well, two things. What Annetta said is very true.
It's
No, that's
true.
true too. Now
If you put it
when
in
I get my turn,
context, put
I'll
it in
expound on
context.
it.
First of all, we dress for us. What's comfortable? What do we like? What
Right.
do we think we look
Hmm.
good in? Right. And then, like she said, for
Hey,
other women,
Hmm.
because other
I'm about
women
to.
are
I
going to
see it.
notice the
I'm gonna say,
details.
is our mic
Right.
on?
Girl,
Oh,
that green is working with your skin
Turn
tone or
this
whatever.
on.
Those shoes go perfectly with that dress. Where a man is gonna be like, she had on shoes. All I have to notice was she looked
They
good.
don't even care about that.
Right.
No, no.
So no, I mean,
Yep.
in a very generic way, yes, we dress for men. We want them to find us attractive and
Right.
so we put ourselves together well, but they are not going to remember the details 9 times out of 10. They're not gonna. She had her jewelry perfectly matched up with that outfit. They're not gonna
They men
remember
ain't
that.
gonna. All they gonna remember is
A
you had a
woman,
nice smile, your body
yes,
structure, she smelled good, how she entered the room. It's us when she. Oh, did you see them
yes,
red bottoms
You
she
know,
had on? Girl, did you see her hair? Her
that
hair was
part.
like, oh, I wouldn't have wore that wig. We do that, and to
Exactly.
even
no,
remotely think that we don't
we
do it, and to be in deception that we don't do it, we do it. I mean,
Yeah.
heck, some of us probably get on the show and be like, oh, she got her face beat tonight. Oh, she got this. That's a prime example that women, we dress to give each other either compliments or to ridicule or to put down. That's just a fact.
So, so,
I just wanted
so,
to share with you
so,
real quick. If you don't mind if I can go real quick.
Go
go
ahead,
To
ahead.
be
Steve.
honest, I do like to floss. And
Okay.
I do it intentionally a lot of times
For who?
because there's times where, depending on what it is. Um, I like to look nice. I like to look good, and I do draw attention. But the clothes don't make me. I make the clothes. Who I am as a person makes and creates the presence that you see when I come into the room. But I do like to dress. A lot of times, though, I am dressing for not a lot of times, but there have been times that I have dressed for the purpose of, yeah, I want him to see me looking like this. Remind you what I looked like when you messed up. Yeah, sometimes I have that mindset too. Sometimes I have that
Agreed.
mindset of, yeah, I'm wearing this because I want you to see, girl, that old girl that was
period.
trying to hate on me,
As you should.
that you need to get yourself. If you want him to
That's
look
what I'm
at you,
talking about. I
get
like
it
that, right?
together. Because they do. I just beg to differ a bit on that. That men don't pay that attention because some men do. The men in my circle, they are higher. The majority of them that I deal with, because we're in profession, they dress to the nine. They're wearing suits. They're just as in tune to fashion as women are. And to my perception is, oh, they checking it out. They checking it out just like they men check men out, but they don't always say it, but they do.
Absolutely.
They check each
Like,
other out too. But
like,
I
I,
think one thing I just wanted to share is two. I do like when I'm buying, like, one thing I wanted a mink coat, and I never wanted one before. I never wanted one, but they just start growing on me, and they're beautiful to me now. You know what I mean? So when I finally did buy, I was like, wait till I wear this one. I'm petty boots sometimes. Yes, I am. I'm gonna be honest because it's fun.
You know
Like,
what?
I like to be seen.
You
Like,
know
people will
what?
say to me, "Look here, you like to be seen." Yes, I do. What?
No,
Because
no,
that's who I am. But is it bad? No, I think it's a beautiful thing that you want to look nice in what you when you step out the house. And but
um,
so I just think that for me, I think men do care. Some men do pay attention to that because especially men are visual. Men are to me men when so that's why marketing is a huge thing. Marketing, that's why they market a lot of sex, they market nakedness, or they market looks, clothing designs, because men are visual beings opposed to more women. We're more um we're more looking to the in depth of a person first than the outfit. That's my opinion.
And I want to add to that pettiness piece. So that must be the thing. Like again, I always have parallels to sports. So lately on these sports shows, they these guys keep talking about, yeah, I'm petty. So they like you said, it's fun to be petty. So I think a lot of people are taking on that notion to be petty, and it was inside the NBA where they were saying Shaq was petty and Kenny Smith was like, yo, I know I'm petty. Um, so if you think about it, where people are like, oh, that's petty as hell, but some people get a rise out of being petty because they may be secure in what they do, and they like, I just want to ruffle people's feathers.
Yeah.
I just want to ruffle people's feathers a little bit and get them out of, make them feel uncomfortable. So, hey, stay tuned for more people being petty.
Hey Dave, yeah, have you ever questioned what are these women getting these BBLs for? Are they doing it for other women? Because we as
What is
men don't
BBL?
Doing what?
Oh,
Brazilian
never
butt
mind. I
lift.
know what it is.
All them chicks getting it, man. It's females being
The
in
what?
competition with each other.
They doing it for other women.
Yeah, they doing it for brothers. Yeah, they doing it for other women. We don't care about that, man. As men,
I
some
don't
of
know
us
who
don't.
they doing that for.
No, they're not doing newsflash.
That's not even like they're not doing that for other women or men. They're doing that because it's low self-esteem. It's a lack of.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Because when you're not, when you're not happy within yourself, you're willing to change yourself. Okay, that's what a lot of women are doing.
You're
When
willing
you
to
see women,
drastically change yourself.
right? And what happens is those same women that go through that are still incomplete.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know,
But wait a minute,
thing?
I gotta ask a question on that.
They take a whirlwind of emotional changes. They become more promiscuous. They become more, start doing things that they normally wouldn't do. Because what happened with plastic surgeries and surgeries like that, they always try to tell you to seek counseling before you try to do any altering surgery. Because what happens is once you alter it, you don't see the body the same anymore, you begin to think differently. Y'all know I'm very open about my journey of the gastric sleeve surgery. When I first was going through the process, you had to go through the process of seeking a counselor and sitting with a psychiatrist. One of the biggest things I had to deal with was dealing with being molested. And in order to even think about having the surgery, because one of my eating patterns was suppressing my emotions. So I ate when I was anxious. I ate when I was, feeling frustrated. I ate when I felt depressed. So I had to deal with that first before they initiated the surgery. So when they did the surgery, at that point, I was better in my thought process. But then I started to see my body changing before my eyes. And then another emotion came into place. That emotion came, oh, wait a minute, this is happening so quick. I can't address this the way I thought I could. And then I got scared of gaining weight again. And then I turned my whole focus into something else. So a lot of times people doing these drastic changes and different things like that. And if you have not dealt with your insecurities, your lack of self-esteem and all that stuff, then it turns out to be something that you're not even pegged and ready for. So they don't do this for men. They do that because they have some insecurities and some issues that they have not dealt with.
I can't wait to get my tummy tuck and get rid of this C-section.
Right. I just don't see the difference.
That's not that's different. That's different. A tummy tuck because you don't have children versus you getting a Brazilian butt lift, a tummy tuck, your arms done, your breasts done, you're getting your lips. That's totally different. I'm talking about body altering. I'm not talking about,
tummy tuck is body altering. Having gastro bypass is body altering. That's internal body.
Let me jump in here for one moment though. Granted, a gastric bypass surgery, no matter if it's a sleeve or stomach reduction, those first are considered health related.
there actually are, yes.
They're less about the appearance than they are about the longevity of a person's life. And this is why she's saying you have to go through, you have to diagnose what it is that you're having, the issues that's causing you to overeat. So even though, like I said, they're both what be characterized. Same category. Yes.
You have to be careful. Gastric sleeve surgery, it wasn't because I was unhappy with just the way I look. I had it because I had cancer twice. And because my BMI was so high, I was at risk of having another cancer outside of getting my breast removed.
And that's exactly what I was going to link it to. That's
from Crohn's disease. So I didn't do it because honey, I was plush, pretty, and foxy and fine, fat. And I'm pretty, foxy, and fine, period. So
that's what I was going to link it to. I was going to link it to say that a woman who's had a mastectomy, who's getting a breast replacement, got the breast replacement because she wanted a larger size. No, she had the ability to get the larger size because she had to go through the mastectomy.
I can't say. So I don't think that every time that somebody does a body altering change means that, you know, they have something psychologically wrong with them.
Not all the time.
I breastfed my son for 9 months. I breastfed my daughter for 24 months. And when I first stopped breastfeeding, baby, it was not cute. And over time in the gym, it did some things and it changed some things. So I'm okay with that part of me. I'm completely okay with that part. I just know that it'll never be another day on earth that I can go braless. That's fine. But just because, you know, some women may say, you know, they have the mommy makeover where you do get the breast lift and you do get the tummy tuck and you do get the butt lift or whatever. Yes, some women's bodies change completely. And if they want their pre-baby body back for them, what is wrong with it?
I'm talking my pre-40s bodies back.
Right. Listen to the difference. That is not, in my opinion, that's not drastic change, because what they're trying to do is look like they once looked. That's
you're saying like somebody the ant booties. Yeah, I got you. Okay,
they move in.
Yeah, that's the difference than somebody who gets this.
70 with a tight ass, like you 20.
Because they're that desperate for change.
Let me watch my mouth because I said the.
I never said nobody watched
it's always a lack of self-esteem.
See,
no,
like I don't believe that it's always a lack of self-esteem.
I'm 22.
Like I would like my pre-40s body back. If I had the money, I would probably get a boob job.
But it's not even always a lack, like you said, it's not a lack of self-esteem. Many times it's them trying to look what society tells them they need to look like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's what people are talking about when they talk about self-esteem.
Agree with that.
I want a six-pack when I was 20. What could I do to get that back? That shit ain't gonna never happen.
You gotta work out.
You know, because we're always, one thing I know, I do believe women, we are always to some degree comparing ourselves. And you know, and when we'll see, because like I'll see somebody, I say, I don't, you know, I'm trying to figure out where am I to the size of some people that I may see, or like am I, and is that what I look like, you know, or you know, am I in that?
Do you want to know why that is though?
When I start comparing myself, I see a woman with a stomach that, and I'll be like, ooh, if she can wear a two-piece, I can wear a two-piece.
Right. I'm like, you know, I'm going to the beach and I'm gonna be happy with my little stomach.
Don't do it.
I don't have a little stomach.
Do it.
It ain't grown.
I feel comfortable.
Do it.
Like I feel confident and comfortable. Like going to the bar in tennis shoes, sweatpants, and a sweatshirt. Just as well as I feel confident going to the bar in makeup like I have on tonight, my hair straightened, and
you trying to look good for, Anita?
I didn't know it was here. What
are you trying to look good
for? It's Valentine's Day. I got my red shirt on, my red sweater. I'm dressing for the occasion.
Okay.
Maybe not the occasion for tonight, but the occasion for now.
Okay. All right. Willie, what's good, man?
Hey, I'm
Can
just
we get
listening.
A Willie moment? Can I get a Willie moment? I need a Willie moment.
I don't have any. Well, actually, I was going to tell you when you mentioned about the hat, about your fedora. I basically was just going to say to you that is your brand. So when you wear it, it's become your brand. So when people see the show, or they see you in school, or wherever they see you, they expect you to have that on. You know, just like when I speak, when I'm on stage and I'm doing my presentations and my keynotes, I normally wear a vest. I wear a vest and shirt and tie, or a vest and sweater, but I always have a vest on, and that's my brand. So some things we do differently, or for, you know, it's not because of what everybody else is doing. Like you said, you've been wearing those hats for a long time, way before anybody else, and that's just your brand. So people know you based on your brand. And the same thing with me in the vest. So sometimes, you know, things are done for certain reasons. People do the surgeries for different reasons. Some people do it for medical. Some people do it for, you know, some enhancements. Some people do it for the concern that they're lacking, or they feel that they're lacking in certain, you know, boobs and breasts or lips or whatever the case may be. So people do different things for different reasons. But if you know the reason why you're doing something, then I think it's different from you just trying to be a materialistic or trying to present a type of air or look. Because I don't think, like you said, that's not what you initially did it to cover up your birthmark. But then after a while, people knew you for that hat. You know what I mean? If you were to walk into the room without one, they're gonna look at you strange because they're used to you, and that's your brand. That's your image. So they would be surprised if you walked in with a different type of hat, or a different, you know, without a hat. So, you know, so it's different. People do things for different reasons, but you know, some people just do things because of attention, or because, you know, they want attention.
A funny story as far as that at school. Now, I never wore a fedora to the middle school or even the high school, but the kids, they couldn't even handle it. If I wore a fedora in there, they would be like, "Where the hell are you going, Mr. Glover? Like, you got a date or whatever?" So I don't even feel like doing all that with them. If I wear a matching sweater with sneakers on, they're like, "Oh, big drip." Big dripping, like I'm like, listen, I don't want all that attention. But one day I'm in the hallway on hallway duty, and the teacher like, Glover, how many pair of sneakers do you have? And then I'm like, I don't know. I was like 3. And then my coworker was like, yeah, right. She was like, this man has matching hats to go with his matching sneakers, matching socks. And I'm like, how the hell you know about my socks, whatever? So
I like to look at men's socks.
Yeah, people do identify you for certain things, but I never got identified with wearing a fedora to school, because I can imagine them kids, whatever. Mr. Glover must be going to church after this. Mr. Glover, a deacon, or whatever the case is. So I said, I don't even want to mess up their day. Now, if I come into some money, some big time money, I'm coming in there with fedoras all day long, and that's gonna be the message. But all right, that's that. Anything else? Any closing comments about this subject matter? Because a lot of people, y'all been waiting for the granddaddy of them all, these sex toys. I'm gonna give y'all what y'all want. Hey. So, do sex toys enhance or take away from intimacy? Who would like to tackle that one first?
I think it enhances.
Well,
oh, wait a minute, my screen disappeared. I think it makes it fun. I think it makes it keep things fun in the relationship and changing it up, you know. In the bed.
Spice it up.
Spice it up. Keep it interesting, intriguing.
So I wonder how do men feel about a woman pulling out a sex toy or whatever the case is with them present, unless they're encouraging you to do that.
Wait, you said with them present or gone?
No, with them there present.
I think that's a conversation really beforehand.
Why you can't touch on that?
I haven't had a situation like that.
I think that's a conversation. conversation.
Would you be uncomfortable with it?
beforehand.
Say that one more time.
Would you be uncomfortable with it?
It wouldn't be no need in my situation, but you know, to each his own. I'm like,
That's
I don't think you.
If
I
I
don't think.
pulled out a strap on, if I
think you
pulled
read
out a
between.
strap on and told you bend over, you be comfortable with that?
Come on.
No,
man.
I don't think so.
Listen, lady, I
Hell
almost
no.
called you something, chick. Don't talk like that. No.
I think that's something that's
I'm-
Some guys do like that.
Listen, I'm
Well,
way
any
too
guy that
advanced
like
for
that, he don't want you. He want what you want.
No,
No,
well,
not
You ever
true.
watch the
okay,
show
so
Sisters?
look.
Hold on. Can we let Fred get his
Yeah, before he go to the 3 minute buzzer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gonna put the 3 minute on. Like I said, I only touch areas that I know about. I'm not familiar with that area. You know, I never had no reason for that to even happen.
But
I'm
may I
way
ask you a
advanced.
question? Can I ask you a question,
Yeah.
Fred?
Mhm.
So do you you know, it's kind of private, but do you get aroused by watching a woman pleasure herself?
I mean, comments. I mean.
So that's
Trying
that,
to
you
put
know,
me
that's
on
Right. So
point too.
if she brought a sex toy into the
Right.
that it's
And
not that's not a reflection on what you can or can't do.
Right.
I don't get no
Exactly.
feeling through no toy. I like
You just said you get aroused watching.
But that was what you just said. You get aroused watching. It's not even necessarily about you. Now, if every time y'all go to have sex, she pull out a strap or a dildo, then I'm gonna feel a certain kind of way because it's like,
Yo,
okay,
she got the. Nah.
there's a problem. But if you
wrong
guys,
dude.
I think that's first of all,
Yeah,
I
you
think
got
that's a conversation too. I definitely think it's a beforehand conversation. I would be offended if I'm ambushed with a toy and I'm just like, yeah, no, this weird. That would just be, it would be an ambush. But I think a conversation of trying, because I don't know, different people may like different things and different. I don't know.
But
maybe you probably got to talk to somebody that's used to getting pegged or something.
I was just getting ready to say, see,
that's not the only sex toy available.
She said a strap. Listen, she said
They
a
talk
strap
about
on.
feathers up
I heard
your
what
butt
you
and
said.
all that stuff, whatever.
I think
No. It don't have to be no butt play, no none of that. Because me personally, I'm good. If you want me to play with your butt, we're not compatible at all. That's not happening. No.
See, I think
that
the
is
question.
my point.
I think the larger question that's not being asked is why, for the most part, I'm going to say about 95, 99% of women need a sex toy. Need, not want,
Because I'm gonna tell
need.
you why. I'm gonna tell you why, but your percentage is off because you can't really give that percentage because you
Hold on, Annetta, hold on. If a man is not asking for it to be brought in, then the woman is suggesting it. Can we agree on that?
No.
I'm not going to agree on that either.
Okay, what were you going to say about the research, Jay?
So
I'm not.
wait.
What
So
I'll
sex
say
toys,
this.
Let's be clear. A toy, and sex toys could be numbers of things. A sex toy could be something like a whip. A sex toy could be handcuffs. A sex toy can be a lot of things other than a vibrator or a freaking dildo. So
yeah, sex toys can be BJ pops. They could be anything like that.
It could be the pop rocks. It could be dental.
Right.
It could be
anything.
All of these things. And that's
What I'm saying is who is introducing them
we know a
into the
lot in your
sex.
point.
I'm just saying.
That's all
Who
I'm
is
asking.
introducing?
Yes.
It's hard to say who introducing because everybody kind of does whatever makes them feel great. The new sex toys now for women, right? Your comfortability. The new sex toy now for women is the rose. They have like 4 different types of roses. They're excellent toys. I'm not gonna sit here and deny that they're not. They're extraordinary.
I don't know about them.
This is my point, Dave. Who, for the vast majority of the sex toy market, who is it marketed to, men or women?
Women.
It's marketed
Which
toward
is my
women.
point.
Women.
That's precisely the point that I'm getting at.
Right. Have you ever been in the store? The section for men is
He
But
been in
listen, if
Spencer's.
you
You know
you're
he been in
stating
Spencer's.
that we buying the sex toys, but y'all buying the pornography.
I don't disagree with that.
Porn is free.
Okay.
We don't gotta buy it. Porn is free.
Good one.
Them blow up dogs.
Where y'all watch it?
Them
Porn is free.
Okay, but listen.
I know one thing.
This is
I
the
know one
thing.
thing. Listen, I know one thing. When I'm driving, back when I'm going to from Baltimore to Niagara Falls and in PA, them damn sex toy spots on the thing be lit. With cars.
They
and
do,
I'll be like,
and I have one
what
up
the
the street
hell
from
is
my
going
house.
on? What the hell is
A lot
going
of
on
times
here?
they're watching. There's men in there going to the porno video area where you can go in there and watch.
But we're
live
talking
dancers,
about
Every
the
time you have
toy.
men going in there
window.
getting pills, you have men going in there getting lubes, you have men going in there getting desensitizers. Men go in those stores just as much.
Yeah,
they do. They be up in there. I'll be like,
I am not saying that men don't. If you look at the metrics of who buys, overwhelmingly, and it's not even close, women do. Like Fred said, men look at pornography, women buy the toys. We're specifically talking about toys. We're not talking about Viagra, because Viagra's not a sex toy. You can talk about whips and BDSM, but overwhelmingly, the doms are not men. They're women.
You know what I think it is, Herb? I think it's because it's like women with pads. The men ain't gonna go in there and go buy a dildo. It's gonna make them look a certain way. So the woman will go in there and buy it, and it's for them. They probably had the discussion, but the woman looks more appropriate going in there and buying it opposed to a man buying it. So that is what I think. I don't think it's just the fact that men are not trying to buy it. It was probably his money. She went and bought it with sometimes.
Yeah, but who is it going to be utilized for?
Have you guys never seen couples in a sex store?
Who is the toy going to be utilized for? Is it going to be used for the man, or is it going to be used for the woman?
Depending on what the toy is.
Both.
Okay, so listen to this. Hold on. It's a store. It's a store in Florida. It's a sex toy store. Okay. Don't judge me. I ain't been in there and did nothing. I just see that.
Right.
It's a sex toy store.
You are a grown woman, honey. You can
She just looked in the window. That's all. She just still looked in the window. That's all.
Oh, wait a minute. Did you see my facial expression? Anyway, it's a sex toy store and it's a couple store. So they go into this couple store. The man has his section, the woman has her section, and then there's a section for couples, and then there's a back room for them to kind of enjoy themselves. Damn. Okay, and they even swap mates.
Yeah.
So
swinging is old. People just don't know about it because it's not a mainstream thing.
So what happens in this place is they have a section for men that's enjoyable for them. Like Shawnee C said, they had enlarging pills, they had stimulation stuff, they had pump stimulations, they had different types of gels, they had the BJ pops, they had the BJ sucker luckers, they had all types of stuff, that men could utilize.
Like dominatrix type toys, because men like
you said snuffleupagus.
Okay, so let me just say this. I don't have a problem with sex toys, okay? I've been a while without having that, so that's enjoyable for me. For me, it's like I don't have to worry about the emotions. I don't have to worry about nobody asking me questions. I don't have to worry about nobody talking about let's stay here and cuddle. I get my toy, wash it, clean it, put it back in the drawer.
Hold on, people. I need to read Christine comment. She said, if she rarely, if ever, reaches orgasm, sex becomes a chore. Why not offer her the tools to aid her in sexual pleasure? And that's some of the research they were saying, that a lot of times women don't reach that pleasure.
Don't
So
climax.
dudes think they be tearing that shit out the frame,
They don't
and
climax.
and they ain't doing nothing really. So now
Right.
they want these
And them
agents to
roses
go in
make
there.
you climax.
But see, I'm gonna step out on a branch here, and this might push some people to one corner or another.
We know
A
you
female
would, Herb.
orgasm. A female orgasm is not required during sex. Not that it can't be achieved. It's not required.
Huh?
You not
If that was the case, it would be much easier for women to achieve orgasm.
Hogwash.
I love her.
I think you're missing.
No. Understand my statement. It is not required. It's not a biological requirement for a female to orgasm.
Y'all don't need no orgasm.
It wouldn't have been
Y'all don't need no
biologically
orgasm.
created.
Herb said y'all don't need no orgasms.
No. It's not really. Let me make it a little bit. Let me make it a little bit plainer.
No, we heard you loud and clear.
Yeah, you better make it plainer.
I'm gonna make it even more plain than what it is.
Yeah, make it more plain than that.
No, I can't. Believe me, and I'm gonna do it if you give me 30 seconds. If another woman didn't have an orgasm on this planet, hold on. If another woman didn't have an orgasm on this planet, would humanity cease to exist?
What? Okay, and I definitely
No,
I knew
it
that's where you
wouldn't,
was going
but-
for that. We not having sex with y'all
Right.
just to make babies.
That's not what I said. When I said it's not required, that's what I meant.
That's here we go with
Okay, it's not
That's a very unintelligent statement to say. That's just like you saying that you coming is not a requirement. Like that's crazy. You nothing is not a requirement. That's crazy.
I said for humanity, it's not required. Not for a man, for humanity.
We ain't thinking about humanity. We're thinking about one-on-one.
Sometimes I be questioning what man is speaking on.
Wait a minute. See, this is where we get into things that are really tough. When tantric sex is mentioned, who is it mentioned in conjunction for?
When what?
When tantric sex is talked about, who is it mentioned for? Tantric.
It's for
Tantric. Tantric sex. When tantric sex is talked about, who is it for?
Tell us, Herb. What's the right answer?
It's for men to delay orgasm so the female that he's with can orgasm. See, I'm not a neophyte when it comes to this stuff. I just don't talk about it because the average rank and file person doesn't know about it. See, we focus so much on the female achieving orgasm because it's easy for a man to do, because it's required for the human race to continue in perpetuity. That's why I made the statement. That's why I said it's going to push people to one corner or the other, because people here and women are triggered. What do you mean we don't need to have an orgasm? Biologically speaking, you don't.
But I don't think they're looking at
No, I'm aware of that, Dave. I'm aware of that. I didn't say
the point of your statement.
The point of the statement is this: men have an easier time of achieving orgasm because it's biologically required.
So, ladies, bring your toys.
No, it's not.
I'm not saying you can't do what you need. Let me put it to you like this.
Some of y'all, come on, let's keep it 100. Some of y'all can't even get to an orgasm, so it's not no biologically required. So what happens when you gotta use the blue pill? You ain't getting an orgasm that quick when you gotta use the blue pill. It is naturally, biologically for the bodies, what we were taught in medical, it's biologically natural for us all to release. You can't say that. We release because certain things balances our body. You are external, we are internal. You can't say it's not required. That's crazy. Who actually lays down with somebody not to be able to orgasm? That's the attention.
Let me ask this question then. Let me ask this question.
Require a man to every single
biologically speaking, for the human race to continue. I'm amazed at how y'all leave that out.
Ladies, gentlemen, hold up. We're doing good.
Let me ask the question.
We can't leave this to biology because if we're talking about sex and biology is meant to procreate, and we're not trying to procreate. We're trying to get pleasure right now. So we're only talking about.
I understand that, but that's why I said it in the specific meaning in the specific way that I did. I said it was going to push people to one corner or the other. I already knew that.
Right. The truth is, what he's saying is correct.
In the corner where we want an orgasm.
But that's true. We want an orgasm. But what he's saying is that for a child to be born or to be created to go into the egg is not needed for us to come for that sperm to make it to the egg. That's what we already knew that. We know. Okay, but he had to make that point for some reason.
But we're not going through let's go half on the baby type of thing, whatever. When we're
all right, let's look at it like this then. Let me flip this. Let me flip this then. Let me flip this. If women initiated sex the way that men did, you'd have no problem achieving orgasm. Why is it that women don't initiate sex the way men do?
What do men initiate sex, and how do you think women initiate sex?
I'm asking a question.
I'm gonna answer that for you.
That's the women that you have experience with.
Right. I'm gonna answer.
That's by and large. That's not my experience. We can go person for person on this panel and ask that question.
You put out a question, so let them go one at a time. Start with Lakeith.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I'm concerned about that question, Herb, from you. Reason being is that your crew that you communicate with, these guys, have always said, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that the women are the ones that's trying to have babies. They know when they're about to ovulate, so they'll make somebody have sex with them so that they can have a baby. Am I saying that correctly?
I have no idea what crew you're talking about. Number one.
I ain't talking about your crew. I asked you a question.
You said my crew.
So do you believe when the guys have come on the show that said women know when they ovulate, so they have sex with men? BGS said this too, that women have sex with men so that they can have babies, and they're aware when they ovulate. So for you to,
I would say that's an erroneous statement because a lot of women don't track their ovulation, their cycles.
Okay, I thought you was part of that agreement of that, because it's been said.
If you didn't hear me say it, then I don't agree with it.
Okay, Herb, you cannot keep making statements for women that you're not a woman, so you can't make. That's like me saying men don't sit there and measure themselves. I don't know what y'all do. You can't keep making statements for women. A lot of women don't track their ovulation. You can't make invalid statements like that.
Herb know this stuff. I don't know why y'all need to listen to Herb. Herb know this
statistics.
Stuff.
He don't know no reality of what women.
Yeah, I know Herb used to be a gynecologist.
My question for Herb is, how do you think that women approach sex and men approach sex? Can you explain how you think each sex approaches it?
Say that one more time. I didn't hear you, Anita.
Women and men approach sex differently. So can you explain what your perception is about how women go about it and how men go about it? Maybe we'll understand better your statement.
I can't. The only thing I can ask is this. Compared to men, how often do women initiate sex? In other words, how often will a woman unzip a man's pants and start fellatio?
As many times as we want to. Whenever
that's not answering the question.
Well,
that's why I'm asking. How often do women initiate? Do they do it 50% of the time, 75% or 100% of the time?
So here, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know, but this is the thing. You said that if women initiated sex more often, they would have more orgasms. And
yes,
right. How do you come
what
at
does that
it?
mean?
Because they would take
initiate and bring orgasm.
Well, wait.
Because they would take command of the situation and put themselves in the position to orgasm.
So do you know how an orgasm works?
So if we're laying in bed and we're sleeping at 5 o'clock in the morning, if I just undo the covers and start, performing on you, oral sex, Is that going to make you orgasm?
Lady, listen.
But is that going to make me orgasm the same if you do it for me? Because I might not like oral sex. I might like to give more than I receive. So in that case, it might be different from my experience if you wake me up at 5 a.m. going down on me than it is for a woman to wake you up at 5 a.m. and perform. You understand what I'm saying?
Once again,
what you're saying,
I'm saying to reach orgasm.
Once
I think
again,
where we missing it, everyone's sex drive is different.
Sure.
Everyone, what they desire, what gets them to their peak is different. Some
Sure.
people may like the oral. Some people may just like they butt back rubbed or a stroke or something like that. So everyone peak of how they reached is different. That's why you can't make a general statistic percentage statement on something, because women, like I stated, we're internal. Okay, men are external. So there's some things that may be pleasurable for Willie that may not be pleasurable for Dave. There's some things that may be pleasurable for Dave, but may not be pleasurable for the master barber. So you can't make a general. Y'all so stupid. I can't stand y'all.
You want to know why I can make that statement? Is because without a doubt, 100% of men will have an orgasm if he inserts himself in a woman vaginally. Is that correct?
That is not true.
That is not true. I don't know where you get your information, but that is not true. Not
So you mean to tell me? So you mean to tell me?
You gonna tell me every woman you inserted into, you got an orgasm?
You done bust?
Yes.
Every woman.
Yes.
Every woman you did, you got an orgasm.
Every single time.
That's just Herb. He's just
every
doing
time.
that. We all know.
So you just
dun 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 dun.
So
like maybe I don't know.
So Herb, listen. So it sounds like there's no like emotional connection with your sex thing, because a lot of that has to do with emotions, whatever. How you feel about a person.
I don't even think it's that, because what if you and your partner decide that y'all gonna go for this quickie for 5 minutes while the chicken nuggets in the oven
But
and
the
kids
emotions
in the
already
room?
established with
That
that.
don't mean that you're gonna bust for that quick 5 minutes. No, that don't mean that.
No.
Or what if I
that's
It
different.
should.
That's different from what Herb explaining. He's explaining like
explain it, Herb. Tell him, Herb. Tell him how it goes.
Because I won't even speak.
Herb, are you talking about like you have foreplay, like pregame before sexual intercourse?
Yeah, exactly. And that ain't gonna be the case all the time.
Herb said once he get in, he busted. He don't care what nobody. You got to get yours later because he getting his.
Herb gonna get.
He gonna get his.
That's the big bad wolf. He gonna bust regardless.
He busted right up in there.
Is that like with foreplay, without foreplay? Does it matter? Does it matter what kind of foreplay?
That's exactly why I asked the question that I did earlier, and the women aren't answering it.
What's the question?
Herb said the hell with foreplay. He going for it.
What was the question?
I asked the question, how often do women initiate sex? Because if women understand them, understand themselves and they understand they need time to get going to reach a point to where they can be stimulated to achieve orgasm, then why aren't they putting themselves in the position to achieve orgasm? That's the reason why I asked about the initiation of sex. Because a man knows, for the most part, that in order for him to achieve orgasm, he has to be aligned in certain ways. This is why you have some men that don't enjoy oral sex before, they enjoy it afterwards. So this is accounts for what Annetta just said about we all being different.
Our orgasm.
Say that again?
Because I think you have some misinformation about women and how we orgasm, when we orgasm.
I haven't said anything about how. I'm simply saying that if you know,
did you listen to what I'm saying?
Y'all don't need
I said I think you have some misinformation, because even if a woman does initiate it, it still doesn't mean that I'm gonna orgasm.
Let me put it to you like this, Anita. Let me put it to you like this. If we're running a
Explain to me
100-meter
like what,
race,
Herb?
if we're running a 100-meter race, and you need, in order for us to finish together, you need to get a 30-meter head start. Would you not put yourself in a position to get a 30-meter head start?
That is no comparison to a woman
You're
orgasming.
not answering the
No, wait a
question.
minute.
Orgasm.
Wait a minute.
That's
Why
So
you
no
what
get
Herb is
comparison.
saying, do foreplay on yourself before you
I'm not saying
initiate with a woman.
I
With a
am not
man.
I'm not saying that she has to initiate foreplay. I'm saying she
You
has to put
said
herself in a
get a head
position.
start. So before you start, before as a woman, before you start with that man, have yourself already primed and ready.
So it's not
Yes,
the
For the
man's
woman
job
or
to do
man?
anything yet
for the woman,
again.
yes,
As a
It's not
woman,
the man's job, it's the
yes,
woman's
yourself
job to
primed and
get
ready.
prepared to orgasm
Yeah.
ourselves. That
That's
is
what
a
yes.
Herb said. Y'all
that's
got
But
a
I
y'all got to
can
get
agree
y'all.
with that
He gonna get
partially.
his, so
That
y'all got
is
to get
partially
y'all's
true,
best way
though.
y'all can.
Because
oh my God,
in order to use an oven, what do they
in
tell you to do?
private.
I
What?
think you're just a little bit unexperienced, to be honest. That's my
If,
opinion on
I
if
that.
can
in
say
order to do what
Where
now?
my
In
thing is
order to use an oven to bake, what do you have to do to that oven?
preheated. You
Heat
trying
it,
to say
heat
we
it
gotta
up.
preheat our
We went from
vagina?
racing
Let
to
me
in
say
the
this.
oven.
Let me
Okay,
say
so then
I'm
have
trying
your
to use
head
them.
right
I'm
then.
trying to use
Okay,
things that they
prep
might
yourself
understand.
ready
Because
because he
everything
ain't
I
gonna
use,
show
they
you.
run from or they try and counter,
We
as opposed to just
understand.
acknowledging
You're
that
just
they
not
have
making
a
a good
You gotta do
different
that. This
way.
comparison
part.
No,
Y'all
hold
hold
for
on,
on,
the
hold
hold
on,
on.
Hey,
hold
Herb.
situation.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Look, can
All
I
right,
speak? Can I
hold
speak?
up. Y'all getting off.
Can I speak?
Y'all too many people
you
talking.
know what helps.
Yeah.
You know what helps preheat. I'm gonna tell you what helps preheat the pom pom. You ready for it? The way the man reacts to how he is with the woman. Because if a man is stimulating me mentally, he's touching me, he's doing foreplay with me throughout the day, he's touching my arm, he's touching my back, he's touching my neck. That is the preheating of the coming to orgasm if he
Bake
can
them
get me there.
biscuits.
But the thing is this too. But that's the preheat. The preheat is the affection and the foreplay that comes from the man that to escalate to where we wind up beginning having before we have sex.
But you talk about earlier in the day. We talk about in the heat of the
Throughout the
moment.
day, even at the
Oh
time,
no.
even the
Oh, okay.
foreplay, even the foreplay. The
So
foreplay is the preheat.
yeah,
And
so
Okay,
see,
I'm
so
thinking.
if that's the case, then why do you need a sex toy?
So I'm thinking. Listen.
That's
So I'm
for
thinking.
Because
fun.
you want us always to be ready.
That's for
Now
You
y'all
want us
asked
fun.
me
all to
about
be
to go
at
to
the
the 2 minute
ready.
warning now.
That's for fun. That's to keep things like just fun and vigor. I like my man to be stimulated. If
So
he's
you don't need to have
stimulated,
an orgasm then if you just
if
want to
he
have fun.
if he's stimulated by watching me stimulate myself, let's have fun. If it turns him on to watch me, I'm trying to please him as well as pleasure myself. And a man should want to want me to be pleased and just use whatever we have or use ourselves to help us get there.
But
It's a your bed is undefiled. Have fun when you're married, but
but women
you're
do
have
initiate.
fun.
When you said something about women don't initiate it, if they want to
Right.
kiss, whatever, can I get a kiss, whatever, or
It's
something
all
like that?
of
Want to
that.
hold hands and placing your hand certain places. That's
Right.
initiation, and that's for
That's
If
you
the
I
to
come,
follow
preheat.
up with it, to
That's
execute
what
it,
helps
whatever.
preheat.
If you can't
if I
take
come
those
into the
hits,
bedroom, if
then
I come into
I
the,
don't know what.
oh, sorry.
Then I don't know what. I don't know what you're supposed to do. But it's
If
so
but
I
we
come into
are
the
difficult.
aware
bedroom
that
with,
we
Go ahead.
if I come into the
we
bedroom
are
with my
aware that
masquerade mask on and my whip, is that initiating something?
No,
What? How
A
not?
fight. A fight.
because it isn't initiating anything that's
Clarity
going
just
to
there
make
for
that
fun.
man get you to a point to where you're ready to orgasm.
Yeah, that's
You know
All
what?
aggression.
The
that's
truth is this
That's
too.
aggression. That has to
that's
be
window
agreed
dressing.
upon. That has to be agreed upon. I want
Well,
something soft
yeah,
and
that's what
sensual.
I
You
mean.
ain't about
I'm
to
just
pull up
not
no
gonna walk
whips
in
and no
with a whip
brooms
and
and
my
all that
masquerade
shit. Like,
mask
what you
on
about to
and
do with
start
that?
whooping somebody.
Some men
Say
like
that
that
again, Anita.
uh
They do.
dominatrix,
Some men do.
type of sexual activity. Some men do like that. So that's to each his own. But another thing I'll say to you, Herb, is that I do believe that women can control if a man is willing to just like chill and like teach him how to help her get there. You know what I mean? Sometimes we have to coach a man to help us get there.
But most women won't do that. They'll sit back and they'll complain. And that's why they end up in a situation complaining about a man not knowing what he's doing, because as Anetta so eloquently pointed out, that women are different. So if women understand that they're different from the average, from every other woman that a man has dealt with, why not give him a roadmap to help you achieve orgasm?
Herb, you know what? Something about that I want to say. What Herb just said. Hold on. One thing Herb just said. That's really, you got to look at if the people aren't in a relationship. You normally hear a woman say something like that if there's no relationship. The guy got with some guy hooked up and he didn't perform the way she was used to. It's not so much what he's doing, it's not what she was used to. So when you're in a relationship with somebody, you normally will talk to that person if they're not doing something right, or if there's certain things you like. They will have a conversation and learn each other, so that way they can make sure that each other is satisfied. So you have to know what the relationship is first.
And that goes both ways. That goes both ways for both men and women.
Exactly.
You can, especially when you're in a relationship, women or men, they know certain things that can get their partner out of there in 5 minutes. Sometimes you talk about sex as a chore. You're like, damn, I gotta fuck him tonight. I'm gonna get this over and done with in 5 minutes, or we may make it last. But everybody, especially in a relationship, you know what it takes, or hopefully you know what it takes to get your partner to that place.
Right.
Shaughnessy, KYP, huh?
Know your personnel.
That's right. That's right. And that's the big difference in what Herb is talking about, because what he's saying is that when the woman is complaining like that, that's normally something where you got somebody and you hooked up with them. You hooked up one night stand or something like that. You don't have that normally going on in a relationship, because that couple is normally talking about, even if the person isn't doing something that they want, they'll talk about it, have that conversation. Now you have people that are sexually selfish, where it's all about them, where they don't care about whether their partner is satisfied. As long as that partner is taking care of them, they could care less, So, I mean, you have to look at what those relationships are to determine some of the things that you're saying. But I'm still saving my 3 minutes because I got some stuff I want to say later.
Well, and that's the thing, Willie.
And I agree with you. I agree with you, Willie. You do, but you also have to keep in mind that sex actually starts before you actually physically touch each other.
Exactly.
There is a lot of conversation. There's a lot of emotional attachment. There's a lot of hugs. There's a lot of facial expression. There's a lot of looks. There's a lot of intrigueness. There's a lot of things you already done thought in your head how you gonna do them, which way you gonna go, what position, what you want to do, how you want to do it. All that stuff is already preset and done prior to that. And then when you come together, that's when it's action-paction. Okay, so it's already people, you right. So you missed the thing, like people saying certain things, like I know we all have been with somebody who just did not get an orgasm at all. Okay, and we gotta admit, men fake orgasms and women fake orgasms. Okay, we've all faked them. You don't fake them to the point like, okay, I just want him to get up. Let me just act like I'm.
I ain't finna fake nothing for somebody. No.
Shaughnessy, if you dead, you dead, huh? If you die, you die, huh, Shaughnessy?
But see, this is the type of thing we come into with dating apps and the hookup culture. And it's just like Willie was saying, that most of the women that complain about that aren't in a steady relationship, so they learn each other. And this is what I was talking about with the women initiating sex. This is why Bumble is set up the way it is, so the woman has to initiate the contact. And now we're starting to see pushback against that type of situation that's set up. That's why I asked the question. I don't ask these questions to make these statements blanketly. Like Willie said, I do research on these things. I listen to other people, and then I come back to this platform because I realize everybody else doesn't get that same information. So when I say it and people think it's crazy, Herb doesn't know what he's talking about, I'm like, all you got to do is go out there and look and listen. The information
Giving
is
y'all some
there.
knowledge. You've been researching.
Okay, may I share this? Now, I was on Instagram, and I don't know if you guys, I can't think of this guy's name. I'm gonna try to find it. But this guy gives massages,
I
and
see
he
that
His
has
name
freak.
these
Tone.
women.
Tone
Yeah,
by
that freak.
Massage
Yeah.
by Tone.
Hold on. Look here, before you say anything, Nikita, I'm gonna tell you who you're talking about.
Who am I talking about?
Hold on. She's talking about Hank Hands.
Nope.
Okay, I'm
I think
incorrect
I
then.
remember his name.
I
think
posted
his
that
name
in the
Massage by
counselor's
Tone.
corner, did I? What's it? But go ahead. I don't know his name because I
Go
don't want
ahead,
to
Latina.
I
He's
don't want to get a
amazing.
massage by him, so I
It's
didn't
called.
catch his
Yeah,
name.
I was really mad at what his name is.
It was called Exalust, or like Exalust. It's like Exalust or something like that, or he's called Exalust or something like
Exaluscious.
that. Is it? It's something along there, but it's and lust is at the end. And luscious is like it's close. You're right, close. But he gives these massages. Now he's going in.
They're sensual massages.
And I mean, but you know that they're extremely sensual. Like I know if he was giving me real talk, giving me that type of massage, he gonna get some at the end of that. Because yo, I want to
I
get
agree.
and watching it.
Look here.
Like, what are we here for? What are we
This
here for?
dude gives these massages. He had
So
his.
he gonna give you you gonna get a happy ending, huh?
What are we here
They
for?
laying flat.
I'll be a
on
happy
the-
customer.
Okay, and these are. But then I said, I know
Y'all, that'll
these
be the
women get.
one with
I
nothing to
know these
offer.
women having sex with this man. I know because I'm like, I know they getting wet. You got to be getting wet. I know you do. And then come to find out, I went to his Twitter page, and yes, he has these videos and on his other page too. That he is having sex with these women. I know he's having sex with these women because ain't nobody doing that kind of massage and ain't getting none.
So he a fake
So what
masseuse.
but he more than that.
He's
He
a
more than
sensual
that.
masseuse.
And I mean, he goes in. He ain't holding back. He's sucking toes and everything. So what I'm saying is this.
God damn.
Real
Okay.
talk. I'm gonna share. Y'all go. I'm gonna take this man.
That's gonna be the new. That's gonna be the new
I
thing.
gotta
Instead of
find
people becoming pastors, they're gonna
I
become
was like,
masseuses.
what the heck? And the truth is, yes, they are having sex, and he is doing videos, and these women are bobbing the knob because the one who Christine said she ain't giving no head. I seen her say that in the comments. She ain't giving. Oh no, she ain't giving no oral. When I, listen, when you got somebody giving it to you like that, you all in because he's giving it. And that is what makes a woman want to give herself the more is what you pour into her. And it is
God
like
damn.
Annetta said, mentally, but sexually, you tap into her body and making her feel comfortable and taking over her body like a man, that takes a woman to a whole nother level. Just to give
Are
you some
these women
pointers.
paying for these massages?
Yes, they
Are
are.
these women paying for these massages?
Yes,
Well, that's a prostitute. He's a prostitute. He ain't really doing no
Hey,
massage.
Willie,
Hey,
Why you so mad, Willie? Why you so mad?
No,
Right,
because she made it sound like it's some kind of he's doing some special
Because
treatment.
what Willie is
Don't
saying
be mad. Don't be raining on our parade. Don't be mad.
but what Willie is saying is the point is being misrepresented. That's his
No,
job.
listen,
Of course, he's good at it.
He's actually online promoting prostitution, his service. That's what he's doing.
So what they saying is,
Willie,
if
no,
you would
he's
do
not.
that, if you
He's
was
giving
doing
you
that,
he's giving you a massage. They're sensual massages. They're massages.
And
if
Hey, Willie, they're not going to admit it, man. They're not going to admit it.
If you get additional services, that's on you. His
You are
main
getting
focus
additional
is
services.
sensual
She just
massages.
said they're having sex and they're paying for it. They're paying him and they're having sex with him. That's prostitution.
and it's
I
sad
don't care
thing
how
is
you
the
look
man
at
is
it.
home.
It's
He paid for that.
prostitution. It's just that's his brand. We were just talking about brands. That's what he's known for, giving those massages, getting you prepared before he has that sex with you. and you're
y'all
paying
ladies
for
are
it.
saying y'all would give up the work if he touched the right spots and be sensual.
And
Shame on y'all. Shame on y'all.
Listen, but you got this because you got the thing is the truth is if at them strip clubs, real talk, men are having doing like get them extra jobs
There's
done
back
in them strip
rooms. You can
clubs.
get
So
a lap dance.
Still prostitution.
That's different from this.
Still
This
prostitution.
dude.
It ain't no different.
Willie,
It is.
It
man
is.
said-
It is prostitution. I agree with
It's
you.
prostitution.
That's his
All of
brand.
it
is.
That's his brand. That's what he does. He does the
Kia said that
massages.
man.
You pay him, and then y'all have sex. But he gets you worked up and ready to go, so that way he knows you're going to be well taken care of, and you're going to come back and repay for that service when you need that re-up. But it's
Kia said the man
Real.
But the same energy that man is giving,
What you say,
that
Fred?
same energy that man is giving. If a man
All
is
I'm
giving
saying
that
is
in a
my man that had that
relationship,
same
she gonna
energy.
come every time, and she gonna be ready to screw all the time.
But this guy is doing it only when you pay him. That's the difference.
Kia
This
said the
guy is
man
getting
sucked
paid
I
to do it.
He sucked
understand that.
toes,
I
Willie.
said a man
Right.
in a
All of that.
relationship, if he's coming with that
Right,
kind
in a
of energy
relationship,
that
yeah.
that man is coming with,
He sucked toes, Willie.
But he's motivated. See, a lot of times if a guy, if you don't talk to, like I said, in a
you're in
relationship,
a relationship,
you talk to your
you're not
partner.
motivated to have
No,
sex
listen,
with the
listen,
woman
listen.
you with.
Y'all let
No,
Willie talk.
listen.
Let him have this moment.
Listen.
Please.
In a relationship, if you talk to your partner, then your partner, y'all can kind of create an understanding. Sometimes you'll find out things your partner not into, certain things your partner do and won't do. That's all part of the conversation in a relationship. If you say, I like massages, and your partner is into you, if he's really in that relationship, he's going to do what it takes to make sure that you're satisfied. And then, like I said earlier, you have people that are sexually selfish. They could care less what it takes to make you sexually satisfied, as long as they're getting what they want. So that's where those relate. So a guy like this guy who's giving the massages, he's filling in for those women who are not being sexually satisfied.
Right.
No
And he
different than
he
strip
has
club.
his niche, which is those massages.
Okay, so if I'm in a relationship,
The
I'm
thing,
parlor. Get my
That
color
was
stuff.
only 1 minute, and I still got my 2 minutes. I got something I got to say later.
the thing that amuses me is, go ahead, Dave.
I was saying, Willie, drop it, man. Drop.
I was gonna say the thing that amuses me is this comparison of strip clubs to something that happens one-on-one. I don't know how you want to make the comparison, but it really isn't.
There's no comparison.
It's not even on the same plane.
Okay, so let me.
This is definitely not comparison to strip club.
Let me say this: in the strip club, are there not private rooms in the strip club?
That's a whole hour with that
you don't have to go.
naked.
But there's private rooms in strip clubs that I just got done watching Hustler with J-Lo and all of them on there. That's just a snippet of what's going on. That's just the surface
You
of
don't
it.
have to go.
But people,
Thank you.
but
That
people
massage,
know.
that masseuse though, Lakia, that is a sensual, seductive masseuse. She is going in knowing that he is going to touch
With their
areas
purpose.
that is going to arouse
Exactly.
you.
That's
A
what a
strip club,
does.
they're
They
going
come and
for
sit on your lap.
No, it's not.
Oh,
No, it's
so
It's
not.
not the
no,
same.
really, guys. So you're gonna tell me this? You're gonna tell me so when you have you ever been to a
Hold on, look here. Let's cut to the bullshit.
a woman comes and give you a lap dance? No.
Let's cut through the bullshit, look
Her
here.
lap dance don't last no more than 5 to 6 minutes. You talking
Thank
about
you.
an hour
And you
to
can't
50
even
minutes
touch
to an
the
hour and a half of somebody. But listen, there is a difference versus somebody dancing on you versus somebody having an hour and a half of sensually touching areas and parts of your
And
body
you can't
that
even touch the strippers.
You can rent a
right.
room for a
Yeah,
long
something
time.
that
Right.
totally arouses you.
Look here. All
Now,
right, look here. Let me ask you this question.
If you
I'm
watch
sorry,
his
Netta.
videos, he straps you. Okay, that's total. He straps you in, and he is arousing and touching key point areas that automatically arouses a woman. Okay,
And touching
and
that
then
lower back sounds
each
serious.
moment he is pulling you closer and closer. So he knows intentionally what he's doing. When you go to a strip joint, she is lap dancing you, and they have a time frame how long they can lap dance you in a strip, and it's never no 50 minutes an hour.
I don't know. I
I'm
went to
gonna leave
strip
that
club
alone
pose.
because I don't agree with none of y'all on that one. I'm sorry. Because
Well, let me ask you this. Well, all right, then that's fine. Let me ask you this question.
a woman is touching.
Have you ever been to a strip club?
Touching? There's still body being. There's still arousing.
It's
There's
not
still
the same when somebody laid on
Hold
the
on, hold on, David. Hold on, David.
moving back and forth on your stuff, in your lap. She's aroused. She is massaging your stuff.
It's different. It's different.
Have you ever been to a strip club where you personally have achieved orgasm? Yes or no?
Listen.
Yes or no? It's a yes or no question. It requires no explanation.
No, I don't get aroused by women, so no.
There's male strip clubs. Try again.
What? What are you saying?
There's male strip clubs. Try again.
There's none. I've been to male viewings, but never been to a strip club. There's never been
Which is what we're trying to tell you.
What? Oh
my we have.
Because
we know what you're talking about.
This is what he did. He created something. There used to be Chippendales. Remember them?
Chippendales are still around.
But the fact they're
they
not
haven't gone anywhere.
Not as much as there are with strip clubs for men. They're not. The ratio is not the same.
It never has been.
Okay, so what point are you trying to make on that?
The point that we're making is a strip club is not the same, not even in the same ballpark, let alone same sphere as what this gentleman does.
Oh, sorry.
They're not even comparable.
Lakia, listen to learn and learn to listen.
And I think y'all need to learn to be open and the fact to stop trying to put walls up and try to make differences of something that's the same. If I am massaging
women are telling you it's not the same.
If I am on you, if I'm a woman, and I just said they have private rooms that you can have whatever. There's a time frame for him giving massages. There's a time frame for a woman going into a man and a woman going into a strip club booth for her to do certain acts, and that means she's not touching him. She's touching his chest, his head, his neck, his body, his legs. She's moving. Her butt is in his face. Don't tell me that's different from what he's doing.
So, question for you.
I'm sorry.
Let me ask you a question. So, let's just say that your partner books a massage similar to this man and women. He books a massage. Let's just say he does it, and it's just imagine that it's the same kind of massage.
Okay.
That's one thing. Let's also imagine that he goes to the strip club. Now, do you feel like though that strip club and that massage is in the same category, you still will feel the same level of violation or disloyalty in your relationship?
Definitely a level of violation. For me, it is.
I wouldn't do
it
for the strip club as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable with my man going to a strip club. Real talk.
Okay, so that's different. So that basically clears up the answer. Either way is a violation for you, so you see it as a sin. But a strip club is completely different than that daggone massage. Because I can sit here right now at a bar I can meet a guy out here and I can have conversation with him. That's completely different than me booking a massage.
But the massage, let's be different. I'm just saying that he does go to a level more. But the women, and if men be honest, women in those booths go up to a level more sometimes than they're not.
We're not talking in the booth. We're talking about just in a regular club. You get a lap dance, moving around, lapping around. We're talking about a regular strip club. Most of the time, you can't even touch the strippers.
You sure as hell can't. They will put you out.
But yeah, I'm just saying that from what I've watched on HBO. Did y'all ever watch HBO at night?
No,
remember
we're talking about in real life.
That's real life. No, this is real life. HBO at night. See, you're younger. I apologize.
Yeah,
HBO at night. If y'all remember, y'all older folk would have that show about the strip club down in Texas, and all of them would line up. Y'all remember ever watching that? Anyone? Remember that? No? See, I did. Okay, Fred. Thank you, Freddie, for being honest. and we would, and they thank you for the cosign. And I was younger, but I had a TV in my room, and they would show how the strip club was and how the women would have sexual acts with these men in the strip club. This was before all these regulations came. It wasn't always like that. And sometimes, people gonna try to break the rules anywhere they go. You know what I mean? If they're in that
we
type
have
of
to
like,
admit that in the strip club they had prostitution and stripping, which is two different things. Okay, and that's the same thing. Willie, even though we were laughing, Willie said that the guy, the masseuse, he's doing prostitution. He's getting paid to do seductive and sexual acts. It's that in that faction is the same thing. But you can't compare what he do to the strip club, because that's not always common in the strip club that you coming in to have sex. Okay, that's not always what it is. It's stimulation, arousing, and get that cash. Okay. Now I do want to say what you comment to what you said. I wouldn't have a problem with my man going to the strip club. Baby, have fun, have at it, but bring your butt home.
Exactly. Hold on. But would you have a problem with your man going to a masseuse that's a woman that does like that man?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a problem, and he better have a problem too.
Absolutely.
I'm just oh shit! I gotta
Definitely.
see this dude.
If he don't do nothing with her, I'm gonna think he gay.
Because Lakia, you already said you would get that dude to work. You already said that.
Listen, the real talk. If I was put in that situation, if I allowed myself to be put in that situation, that would be a struggle. But I tell you this one though, and be transparent. I did have someone come for me, and they were sucking my toes extremely well.
Oh my
and
God.
I had to say to myself,
That's exactly what we're talking about. This is exactly what we're talking about.
Wait a minute.
And I prevailed. I did not.
You gave in.
I did not give in. Where's my witness? No lie. I did not give in at that time. I was victorious that time. Because a man can suck those toes just like and give you an orgasm like you really having sex for real. We doing it right. So what I'm saying is that yes, I have. If I allow myself to put in that situation, but I would not allow myself by the grace of God, because I know better, and you got to do better when you know better.
Woo! Oh, curling. But y'all got the rose, huh? Yeah, y'all got the rose now. Next time it snow, have that rose shovel that snow. God damn it!
I don't understand why a woman can't have a toy and have a man. It's like, why can't it be both?
Right.
She can, but the question was, how do we feel about it? There's a lot of men who don't want that to come between them. Now, if she's going to use that.
But if you can perform in your performance as well, why are you threatened by a plastic toy?
Who said men were threatened?
It would have to be a threat if you're concerned.
Not at all. Let me put it to you like this: is as Christina alluded to earlier, that the guy she was married to, I believe, wanted to bring another woman into the fold. Why would another woman be offended?
I mean, that's another woman. I don't care.
But that's exactly what we're talking about. It's not even about offense. It's just like, if he's adequate, then what do you need something else for? If the woman is adequate, then why does a man need another woman if she's adequate? Clearly, there's an inadequacy that's there that is prompting the use of the toys. And if that's what they agreed upon, or if that's what goes on in their relationship, have at it.
Now, if you want to have fun and you both agree on the same type of fun.
But that's exactly.
So Herb, what you're saying is, I just want to recant what you're saying. You're saying if a man wants another woman in that area, he's stating that his woman is inadequate?
In some way, shape, or form, something's missing that he wants.
Not necessarily. Sometimes it's just a desire. It's just a sexual desire. I would say, and you got to keep in mind, if she inadequate, then that speaks volumes to you, because as I stated before, we're internal, you're external. Okay.
And if
So
somebody
when you
wants
start talking about inadequacies, you got to ask yourself, what am I doing to produce it to go to another level?
Let me make this a little black and white, and this might be a little graphic for some people. If his wife's not in anal, but he likes anal, and the woman is, she's not inadequate. That's just something he wants to do.
And that's a fantasy. Those are fantasies.
That's not a fantasy for a man that likes that type of activity.
But a lot
That's
of
what gets him
I
off.
can agree, but what I'm saying is, but what
Yes, it is. Anything that's sexually and he likes it and he enjoys that, that's a fantasy. And if he can't complete it with that woman,
that is-
yeah, he may go outside or he may teach her. Or that's when it comes to you both in a relationship, learning how to compromise with each other. You know what your man like, you know what you like. So sometimes you have to compromise in order to please. A lot of men and women go outside of their relationship because people don't want to compromise to please the other man. That's where that problem comes up. Right. Those are fantasies. When a man or a woman wants to add a third person in it, that's a fantasy. And if that couple agrees to that, to fulfill that fantasy, then that's on them. But you can't say that somebody's inadequate because if I never get an orgasm with my
I
man,
never said she was inadequate. I said she isn't. That's something that he wants to do. Similarly,
we want to do it.
hold on, Shaughnessy. I'll address that. Similarly, the woman wants to use toys. All I'm simply saying is that for an individual who just uses regular sex, nothing else outside of maybe oral, that in and of itself is where he operates. It may be where she operates. She may not like toys, but if she does, then if they agree to bring that in, that's on them. I'm simply saying, and I was alluding to what Christine said. For her, she's adequate enough for him to achieve orgasm. He wants to bring in something else. That's not a fantasy. That's what he does to get him off. Fantasy are things that we can't conceive of happening with a potential mate. I've dealt with women who love anal. They would rather do that as opposed to vaginal. They would rather have oral sex done to them as opposed to be vaginally penetrated. That's not a fantasy. That's what gets them off. This is why when I talk about this stuff, I don't talk about it from just my perspective. I talk about it from the perspective of what I've had conversations with women. And trust me, I've had tons of these conversations.
But if
about what gets a woman off.
If it gets them off and that's what they enjoy, that's a fantasy, honey.
That's all that counts.
That's a fantasy. That's what I'm trying. Anything that you desire and it completes and fulfill your desire is a fantasy. Fantasy completed or incompleted. It's a fantasy. Okay. You have certain people that if you touch the center of their back, it'll arouse them and get them to a certain point. Those are all different. Those are different things that arouse people. Those are fantasies.
So would that be a fantasy or a fetish? Because a fantasy,
it can be
like
a fantasy or a fetish.
Thank you.
Far-fetched.
Okay.
A fantasy is something that you dream of that really has no opportunity of happening. Hence the show Fantasy Island. We're talking about something that can happen. You have sex every day with your wife. That's not a fantasy. That's something that happens.
Yes, it is.
With a regular functioning couple who enjoys having sex with each other.
So let me say this about the toy thing, whatever. Let me say this about the toy thing. I guess it would be an issue if you with your woman and she uses the toy and she gets off and you never get to penetrate or whatever the case is. So that would be a problem because if you're getting it or whatever the case is and you just enjoying it, like, okay, this aroused me too. But I think the issue come with if she's satisfied with that toy more than you.
Yes, and that often is what happens. It's used as a substitute for the male participation.
No, I don't think so. That just is an addition.
Who said that?
That's fun.
sometimes like that's the only way. Like with guys, they watch porn. That's the only way they can get aroused, and they
That is
can't get
so
aroused
whack.
during like regular sex.
And it's diagnosed as a mental issue. But we would never say that same thing about a woman because it's more permissible.
I didn't say that. I said, let me continue to say, I said the same thing might be true with a woman and a vibrator. Like that's the only way she can get off.
Correct, because that's been substituted for the male participation.
Right. Well, both of
So,
those are based on that. And you look
Right.
at
Do you guys
the
know?
more you
Do you guys
the
know
more
that a
you
woman
do
has?
something, the more you do something, the more it becomes a habit. So the
Right.
more you use, you watch
But do you guys
porn
know and
to
understand that a woman has to be in a place and has to be comfortable enough to orgasm? So it's not that, and it's not that this man can't make her orgasm, but if you don't know what it takes for this woman to orgasm, then you're not going to get her there.
well, that's the
Some women do not
conversation. That's
know
where
how to
relationships and
orgasm.
conversation come in.
Right, exactly. But that just doesn't mean that this is the only way she can orgasm.
no,
No.
but
Maybe
that's
it's the only.
what leads to that.
And that goes back to what we were just talking about. It's the more you do certain things can also take away from your intimacy with your partner. And
Correct.
now I'll take the rest of my 2 minutes now, Dave. So that is actually why I suggested this topic, is because of the effects that use of toys have on relationships, and that it made me think about it because people kept mentioning the roles. I saw something online and that somebody was promoting that, and then it
What?
made me think about a
You don't know
situation,
what the
this
rose
rose
is.
thing, where it's like a rose. It looks like a rose, and it's licking the clitoris, and then there's a penis part that goes into the woman. So now, what man do you know that can lick you and stick you at the same time? He can't. So how can you get that same satisfaction and stimulation that this machine is giving you from a man? You can't. And that's one of the things I look at when you look at these toys. They're making them more and more convenient for women to not need a man in their relationship. And you have, because there are so many single women out there not having a relationship or not having a man in their life, they're making these toys that make it more convenient. So then the woman becomes less and less likely to say, I want a man to sexually stimulate me, and then again he can't do the things that this rose is doing. But it also made me think about, part of what it did was made me think about, I went to a store in Pennsylvania with a friend of mine, and she was talking about all the different sizes of the penises, and she was showing me, and I mean they had some like 12, 13, 14 inches long, and she was telling me about a friend of hers that would buy those big long penises and was using them. So now if you get a man in your life, what kind of man you think is going to be able to follow behind that toy? Very rarely. Now, so because now she's gotten so used to using that as stimulation because she wasn't in a relationship. So now when you get a man who may be a decent size, to her, it's not a decent size, because when he finishes, whatever they do, where is she going to go? She's going to go get satisfied by that toy that's 12, 13, 14 inches long.
Sound like
So
it's
you
too
think a
much of
baby can?
I'm
So
sorry.
you think
What was
a
that?
baby can? You think a
I'm
baby
sorry.
can come out of that thing, and she still gets satisfaction from an average sized male, but she uses a dildo and then will no longer get satisfaction from?
It's totally different subject. What I said was, when you use something so regularly to create pleasure for yourself, then you get with a person, you're not going to get that same because it's not going to be the same as what you're doing to yourself to make that satisfaction.
I
He
think a
can't, you know
woman
what I mean?
has to. I think a woman has to speak on that, and I understand
Right.
what you're
I don't think you
saying,
have that.
but a woman
I
has
don't think
to
it's,
speak on that
yeah.
because you can have a person of a bigger size, and you have a
Right.
person of a smaller size, and that
Yeah.
shit won't fucking matter.
No. And
At
that's
all.
right.
Again,
And then no,
I'm
he's also
telling
another
you,
thing. This is another
I'm
thing that he's
telling you
mentioning.
what brought the
He's trying to say
conversation, which
you
was,
can't.
can I finish
we?
talking? I still have my 2 minutes.
Well, you had spoke a long time.
No,
You took
no,
your 3
so you
minutes,
don't
but
just
please
stop
don't
me
be
because you want to
disrespectful.
talk.
Oh, here we
We
go.
were
And
having
there we go.
a regular
There we go. Go
conversation.
ahead.
Don't
It's
be
your show.
disrespectful
Your
though.
show. Go ahead.
Don't be disrespectful though. Don't do that. Don't
I
get
was
upset
still
about
talking.
it.
Everybody
I
was
was still
so
talking.
good.
Don't get
So
upset about
because
it.
you got something to say, it doesn't matter what anybody else has to say.
You just talk, dude. Stop being that. Stop exaggerating.
So you, it's okay. Go ahead. You take the show. It's your show. Go ahead.
As he was saying that he believes that a woman expectation from a man is going to be distorted because she's using a device that can pleasure her with the penis and licking the clit at the same time. What we're saying as women, you're incorrect. That your observation, your perception of that is not truth. Because as women, we're doing that because we want to be aroused, but it does not. I prefer to be with a man, a real thing that is more pleasurable to me, regardless of what that toy brings, to be have that body connection with a man. The toy is only temporal, but the man, that body, that chemistry, that coming together cannot trump all the time. Not sometimes, not every man can perform a particular way, but my expectation is not going to be, oh, he ain't better than my toy. No, it's better. He's not better. He's not pleasing me to the way that I see that I need to be pleased, period, not based on a device.
But I
Just to
understand
answer
what
your question.
you're saying because it's the same thing with men in porn. That if a man continues to watch porn for so long, and then they have a porn addiction, that's really the only way they can get aroused. That's the only sex they can have with themselves is by watching porn, and they don't get turned on by a woman. So he's saying it's the same thing. Like if I use my vibrator all the time or a sex toy all the time in the absence of a man, then I'll get used to it and not be aroused for a man.
It's a
So the
serious.
same thing with the King Kong, whatever you said it was. Like if it's 14 inches, I don't know where 14 inches goes because I'm only like so long, but I mean, 14 inches is I don't know what to do with that, but
I wouldn't even want it.
There's some things I just can't mess with. If it's, I can't mess with it. But like I was saying,
I'm trying to have my organs rearranged.
14
right
to 16 inches, and it's a sex toy, then that's what you get used to, and you don't want to have a man involved. Is that what you're saying, Willie?
Yeah, thank
So
you. That's exactly what I said. I never said anything about my opinion. I told you situations and what had happened when I went with someone. They were explaining to me about a friend of theirs who was using a toy. And that toy was like 12, 13, 14. Well, I don't know how long it was long. And that she had gotten so used to, because she used it so much, she wasn't in a relationship, that when she did get in a relationship, that partner could not satisfy her because she was so used to using that toy, because of course she knows how to move that toy in the manner that she needed to move it to be stimulated. Now you get with a person and that person can't move or is not going to know to move or how to move and do the things that toy fulfills. So when they're finished, she goes and gets that toy because most of the time she hasn't had an orgasm.
So she's supposed to teach you and tell you and guide you.
So
But that
Sharpsy,
can
what I'm
happen
saying
if the same woman gets a 6-inch dildo or a 4-inch dildo. That dildo still can move, or she can manipulate that dildo to move the same way that she desires it to. Size does not matter in this instance.
Right. What I would say, I've used
A
the
man
person.
can possess a 12-inch penis and not be able to make his woman
But I
come.
use the person as part of why I brought the discussion up as to whether using toys takes away or enhances a relationship. That's how the question was put. Because again, in certain situations, you have people that use toys and it enhances the relationship. And then other situations, you have situations where a person is using a toy and they use it so often because they're not in a relationship that when they do get in one, they're not satisfied sexually because they've been pleasuring themselves for so long that it is taken away from. They enjoy the contact of that person and they enjoy the contact of that person, but in the back of their mind, they're looking for that same feeling that they've been giving themselves for the last 3, 4, 6 months or whatever case may be. So that was the question was, do you think toys take away or enhance relationships? And I just want, that's why I sat and listened, because I just wanted to hear people's opinion on the different aspects of using and not using toys.
So let me ask you this, ladies. So if you're using that, do some of y'all think of a particular person while you're using it? Like, does some man come to mind? Like, okay, I wish this was this person doing this, or whatever the case is. That's a
What
question.
they said, method man, push a woman in the room with method man and watch them fold.
What you say? What you say, Shauna?
Method man.
Oh,
Throughout the week,
that's a new
they
style
had
now.
these
That's the new
memes.
dude.
They were saying, yes, they were saying, put your woman in a room with method man and watch them fold.
Yeah.
I can't speak for others.
That's the new dude now. That's the new dude. Method man.
I'm gonna say that I would not tell that.
you would not tell it. So you're not going to speak on it?
No.
Well, you already told the answer that yeah, you think about another man when you're doing it. It's somebody you
No,
thinking about.
that's not true. I didn't say yay or nay.
Why are you saying another man?
No, not another man, or somebody, or someone.
Yeah, because I'm single, so it's not even like a thing of. I don't think it's so much thinking of a person. It's just getting your rocks off at that moment. And I think currently right now, a lot of single women do it. I can only speak for me. I don't want the emotional attachment. Okay. And so I feel
your
like
mind just be blank.
I'll be thinking about just completing the task.
Scratching itch.
I ain't checking for that one.
I
Anyways, next person, because I think I ain't checking for that one. It's somebody cross your mind.
No, that's the truth. I mean, no reason lying. Right. What's the reason of lying about it? Right. I ain't thinking about, let me thinking about Brad. No.
Right. Why I gotta lie,
Craig? For what? Why not?
Y'all thinking about Melvin ass and y'all ain't gonna admit it.
what it is, especially if you're single, like, I don't need to think about no man. I'm just thinking about completing the task. Mission complete.
My blank.
Focusing on how it feels.
Exactly.
If I'm in a relationship, like, I don't feel the need to use like a vibrator or dildo in that aspect. Like, maybe it might be something a little bit more sensual, like a feather, or maybe some handcuffs, or maybe I have a pedicure.
So those go back to fantasies, though, right? Aren't those more so like fantasies, though? That would be the fantasy with the handcuffs versus a stimulation.
So you handcuff yourself. How do you get out the handcuffs?
She said for use with a partner.
No, I thought she just said.
But wouldn't that be a fantasy of doing it with a partner versus the toy of using that to stimulate yourself with or without a partner?
I think even a toy with a partner could be a fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, consider a feather.
But it would be the partner using the toy on you. The partner would be using the toy. Yeah.
Hot wax, massage oil. You can suck my toes. I have a nice, pretty pedicure.
Y'all getting this sucking toes stuff from?
Y'all wild about that shit.
No, every woman's not.
I was just about to say, I don't think that's an every woman thing, because please leave my toes.
That's not, because I don't like my toes sucked.
Yeah, like don't
knock it till you try.
You can massage my feet, but not
okay.
I don't want my toes sucked.
That's what I'm gonna say to y'all. Okay. Come back to me when you let them get the real one.
No, I'm
I'm
good.
I don't had it done. It does nothing for me.
Absolutely
Thank
nothing
you.
at all.
Okay.
Nothing.
It don't
Not
do
even a
nothing.
little bit.
Okay.
Kia
Sent me a
says stimulate her.
I need to be mentally stimulated.
Well, Kia
But
says she gets
Okay.
stimulated. Get her toes sucked on.
like
It was a growth.
and the more sensual stuff like a feather, edible
So you know,
pants,
and this is what
like
not to cut you off. My apologies.
a
Yeah,
masquerade dress, maybe a whip, you know.
Let me ask this question.
You spank me.
Do y'all get pedicures?
Yes.
They feel good, right? Pedicures
Yes.
feel good, don't they?
Yes.
Okay. So just imagine somebody sucking on them toes.
No, you don't even have to
That's not the
imagine.
same
I
thing.
Y'all trying to make
Different
certain
things.
things
Boy,
different.
Dave.
Oh no, that's
don't.
different.
That's
Okay.
not the same
Right.
thing.
I'm good.
That's not the same thing. I'm
It's
sorry.
not for me to
I
say
was going for the oral stuff and all that, but you start sucking on my toes. That's a turn off for me. I don't like
I'm
that toe
instantly
sucking stuff.
irritated.
And
Because now
your
I feel
toes
like my
probably ain't
feet
the
wet,
first
and I don't
toes he
like
done
that.
sucked either. So
Listen. No, they're not the
You
first
just suck it
toes.
all on dirt and dog mess and everything.
you sucking
You
motherfucking
know, you
sneakers and
had
shit.
sex with. I mean, the
Motherfucker
last
taste
person
like
you had
sneakers.
sex with wasn't the last person. It was the first person. That didn't even make sense. No, it wasn't the first person he sucked toes on. No, I wasn't.
Tastes like
But I'm
motherfucker
glad
eating
he got
sneakers
that.
and
I'm
shit.
glad he got that experience before he got to me because he did it very well. Thank you. Thank you
Exactly.
for being taught.
I mean, there are people that like that. I'm just not one of them. It does nothing for me.
Anita, you get
I'm
your
not.
toes sucked on? Anita?
Yeah,
You get your
Lord, y'all just something else over there. Y'all
Anita,
something else.
Anita, you like getting your toes sucked on too?
Yeah.
You know what Nita do? She always talk about them toes get
So
sucked.
Master Barber, since you asked the questions, do you like sucking toes?
No.
Do I like sucking toes? No.
I'm talking about Master Barber.
Oh,
No.
Patty, do you
Try
like
to put me
sucking
on
toes?
blast.
You be honest. Be honest. Don't
Ready.
be trying like you ain't gonna put me on blast. Y'all just Lord jeez.
Hey, what does she make you do? Who cares?
Huh?
What's it?
Sucking
Why you
toes.
if you do? Because
You
you
smell
got
like
I'm
athlete
just curious.
feet.
Say that.
Listen,
Yeah, I need to learn to suck toes. You
like
ain't got enough
I
for you.
don't
Ain't got
care
nothing
if
else
I'm
going for you.
I can't hear. I can't hear.
I don't want nobody sucking my toes.
Yeah, me
I can't
either.
hear.
you can
Your,
hear
your
fine.
toes won't be the first one that he done sucked either. So just think about that.
And
Well,
I'm sure them lips been on many places before, on many women,
Athlete
so it don't
feet.
matter. It don't
Athlete
matter.
feet.
Them lips and tongue been in many places, so cut it out.
Athlete's feet.
over
Cut
here.
it. You need to cut that. Stop.
Y'all, man. Oh
Who
my
you talking
God,
to?
Jesus.
That don't matter.
Who you talking to?
That don't matter. You act like you just started having sex at this age. Come on, don't even try to go there with that one.
I mean, guys have foot fetishes, okay? Let's just keep it real. I had this guy, he just wanted to
Lord
come
have
over
mercy.
specifically to massage my feet and suck on my toes. And that was weird to
He's
me,
got
but
a
I
fetish.
Yikes.
He has a fetish.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
Yeah,
foot
a
this
fetish.
guy has
That
a
is your
fetish. He has a foot
fantasy. That's
fetish
a
for
fetish.
sure.
That's a
fetish.
fetish.
The foot
Yeah,
fetish.
he definitely has a foot fetish. I mean, anywhere I went, he wanted to take my shoes off, and if I was wearing heels and I was changing to flip flops, he wanted to be that one to do it. And I let him. Sometimes
Yeah.
you gotta let people like men. There are some men out there that don't have a problem pleasing a woman to the fullest.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
guess
that's
what?
exactly.
Well,
I'm
most
enjoying it.
people
Why
feet,
am I
most
going to
people,
deny
8
him
out of 10
his
people feet
pleasure?
are ugly. So
I'm not going to
I
deny
don't.
him of that pleasure because my feet are
My
clean.
feet aren't ugly. That just is not
I
And they're
don't know.
beautiful.
It's just I don't want my feet wet. I just feel I don't know. No, you know. Mm-mm.
Your feet get wet in the tub.
I don't
Yeah,
even
I'm
like
in the
that. And I
shower.
guess I'm weird because I don't even like French
Shower.
kissing. So I don't even like that whole tongue and stuff. Like, so sucking my toes is another thing.
I just
And
It's
then he
feel
like
gonna
like
kiss you
leave my
afterwards. He
toes
gonna kiss you
alone.
after he sucked on
Well, I
right.
don't disclose what go down in the bedroom. That's some mystery stuff. I don't disclose stuff like that. You know, real men and women.
Yes, corns all
Dietrich
up in
said
the mouth.
corn's all up in
I
the
have
mouth.
one corn.
And
I
some
have
people
beautiful
love
feet.
corn.
I have
Some
beautiful
people
toes.
love
They're very
corn.
attractive. But the thing is,
You said you got one
if you
corn?
think about you're in a jacuzzi suite with someone and you're both in a tub and he's at one end, you're at another, the toes is there. Now I ain't never sucked on no man's toes. That ain't never been my thing.
You will
Why
though.
not? Why not?
Because that ain't my thing. I'm not the one with the fetish.
Yeah,
He
she'll
was.
suck on them.
So the thing is, if
Who
my
is
toes
cracking
is
up
down
so
there and they look
hard?
pretty enough to put them in
David,
their mouth,
he laughing so hard.
I ain't
It's
mad
funny,
at it.
man. It's funny, man. It's just funny.
I ain't mad at it. If they pretty enough and look tasty enough to put in your mouth, go for it, boo. Enjoy
That's right.
yourself.
I got you, Lakia. That's
Thank
right.
you. Enjoy
Exactly.
yourself, sweetheart.
No, I'm
That's
not knocking. I'm not knocking you guys. I'm just saying, as Christine and I stated, that's not appealing to me.
Yeah,
You know, to us.
okay.
But I'm not knocking you guys for whatever you like. Like I said, I don't like the toe sucking and I don't like French kissing. So, you know, everyone has their, you know, they pick and choose. And I don't like cuddling.
I just heard
So
that.
everybody has their pick and choose.
Hold up, Annetta. So what the hell do you like? You don't want your toes sucked. You don't want a tongue kiss, whatever. You don't like cuddling. What
She
the
said
hell?
after sex,
just hit it and quit it. Hit it and move.
Exactly.
Stick and move.
Stick
Stick
and
and
move.
move.
Yeah, plow
Stick and
city.
move.
You wanna
She said,
be
get to
plowed.
the point.
right? See,
Plow down.
afterwards,
Netta said she ain't got
in the
time for all that
afterglow, she's like,
relationship, all
you
that
know what would
loving
be so
and
sexy right now if you get up
Okay.
and go home.
Stick it and move it. That's it, bro. That's all I need. Mm-mm.
Hey, she hit you with some. What you about to do?
I mean, that's how it is sometimes. All right,
Yeah.
we're done. Bye.
Yeah,
Oh
what you
my
about to do
God.
means it's
oh
over with.
man,
Yeah, like,
You've been
all right,
got
yeah.
the most out of you.
y'all some funny people.
Huh?
Man, I can't take y'all.
Y'all a funny panel, boy. That shit.
I need to come up with a follow-up post tonight. Like, fellas, how many of y'all suck some toes tonight?
Put that out there. Put it out there.
Right.
Let's see.
out
Let's
there.
see what. Let's see if they
You
tell
might make
the
a
truth.
match out on the counselor's corner.
Not nobody want to match with nobody on that counselor corner.
Nobody.
Y'all gonna quit coming at the counselor's corner like that.
I mean, and I don't mind some things like if we're taking salad together, I'll scrub you down all the way down to your feet, all the way back up, and maybe do some other things in the shower. I mean, what you talking about?
Bringing that, bringing
like
that fucking program, man.
Herbert, no one wants to wave at your kitty cat.
I wave at him.
Her and them cats.
I'll call you Freaky Nita.
Uh-oh. Go ahead, Nita.
Let's be real about it, okay? Let's get real. If we're gonna be real about it, right?
Right.
I hear you.
He said
So
she got the
nobody
handcuffs
is
and the
taking
whip.
Jack, especially how old we all are.
I got the X-ray mask, I got pretty feet, French pedicure, I got a hot shower.
Now, hold on.
You bring that whip to the bed.
Yeah, let's not
Yeah,
get it
she got that
twisted.
whip ready.
Let's not get it
That
twisted.
shower be all soaking wet. She can slap that whip on you.
Let's not get it twisted. Just because you get all that done to your feet, don't make them pretty.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
My feet, I have beautiful feet.
Your feet look like sausages and all that shit. Just because you color them, don't mean that. They just look like colored sausages, whatever. So
beautiful feet.
I can't stand you, David.
I'm just saying.
You know, actually, my next time I'm gonna post a picture of my toes on your page.
Yes,
hey, go for it. You might
And I
calm some of
probably
them
might
dudes
get- I
down.
might
They
get
might
some-
change
I
up
might
their
get-
game.
I get married, be married by another year.
Kia, you put your feet up, girl. You might get some luckers.
Hey, David.
Right.
Bring them toes and zebra cakes to the
Those zebra cakes.
Yeah, you really getting ready to get put out. You trying to feed me zebra cakes and suck on my toes. Yeah, because I'm gonna get shot.
Listen,
Hello.
I'll eat the zebra cake. I'll eat the zebra cake. Oh, you just stay busy on them toes.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, we about to get out of here. We're gonna talk about the attachment theories next episode. But y'all funny as hell.
I'm gonna thank you too, so you can feel it.
Huh?
I'm gonna thank
Okay,
you.
I don't have zebra cake. I have these.
What is those?
Ding
Ding
dong.
dong.
Oh yeah.
I got
Oh,
ding
you
dong.
so wrong for that.
Yeah, the irony. Thank you. I'm glad somebody else picked up on that.
Yeah, ding dong.
I got some ding dong.
Oh my
They look
goodness.
kind of small.
Yeah, that was coming too. No pun intended.
That must be like, what's his name? Was it
Nelly. Your boy
Nelly
Nelly.
that y'all talking about,
Yeah,
whatever.
he said he got a shrimp.
Mhm.
50 cents.
He should have never leaked that video.
What you say, Nelly?
He should have never linked that. That should have never been leaked
Yeah,
out.
they went in on him.
I
They
didn't
went in on
see it.
Nelly.
I didn't see it.
Disappointment.
So I guess it's supposed to be 13 or 14 inches long.
I ain't see it.
Nobody
that's
said
not-
no.
no.
Nobody said they didn't want no 13, 14 inches long. Ain't nobody trying to get no personalized hysterectomy. I mean, come on.
They say he got a Vienna sausage.
That's the robbery.
That's what they were saying.
Hey, that's what he put his face on.
That's what they
saying.
saying. It's all on. It's all on social
It is. It's
media.
all over Facebook.
I'm
I
like,
had
wow.
the link.
You know what? I will say this. I didn't know anything about it till just now.
To me.
I didn't know about it either.
I
Somebody
haven't
sent me
seen
the
the
video.
video.
And
I
he's
just
like-
saw all the
he's-
memes and
And
jokes.
and I bet you the next person's still gonna be slobbing on that 57 Chevy soon enough, whatever. So the people just
I
be
agree.
talking. They just be
And I
talking,
agree
man.
with you, David. For all
Yeah.
that talk, all that.
I just feel like
if
I just
Nelly
feel like he
approached
leaked
any
it
one
on
of those
purpose.
women, they probably dropped them draws.
That's
no,
right.
I think what it.
That's right.
I think the issue. I think why everybody was talking about him is because you have to go through multiple steps to upload a video to Instagram. So it's no way he leaked that on purpose. And the point is, if you're going to leak something on purpose, at least be working with something that we're going to be wowed by.
But see, you know, this is the funny thing about women, and Christy just alluded to it. It's never going to be about a man's size. That's secondary, especially when you're walking around with the kind of wealth that Nelly is. There's women that'll line up half a mile long just to get on.
Some women.
There's a lot of women. That ain't some of my foot. There's a whole lot of women that'll line up just to get on. Just like they did with Rick Ross. And Rick Ross, by any stretch of the imagination, no woman on this planet will say he's physically attractive. So stop with the nonsense.
Rick Ross.
I wasn't attracted.
I like me a big stomach.
No. I'm not saying that he's attractive. I'm saying in spite of him not being attractive, that women will line up down the street, around the block, across town to get with him. The same way they would do with Nelly and his lack of endowment. Stop the nonsense. There's a lot more women that would than there is that would not.
So that it was saying that he was small.
Yeah, they're saying that he's. I didn't see the video.
I'll send y'all the
but
video.
Supposedly he's real small, whatever.
I'll send y'all the
And so
it's not. No, let's be very
and
clear.
jokes.
He's not real small. It's
He's
just
not
like
real
you could have
small.
saved that. You could have saved that leaked video for yourself because, like, we didn't need it. You could have kept it to yourself. We didn't need it at all. We did not need it in no way.
But he got, he got some more ass out of the deal out of that too.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did.
That's like y'all thought Ray J was hot shit when his video popped off, whatever. It just don't even make sense. This stuff. Yeah,
It's really not even truly about the size like that.
Get attention.
Because it's really not. You have people that have the size and don't know what to do with it. And then you have people who don't have the size who are magnificent. So, it's really not about the size.
That's the truth. Preach, sister.
I mean, me personally, it's so. If you got 13 inches, I ain't messing with that.
I'm sure not.
Absolutely not. You can find
There's
somebody
something
else.
I can mess with. If you got
rearranging
like
my organs. It's not. That don't sound like
Anita said, put your toes in my mouth and your Vienna sausage in me. I'm good to go, huh?
David.
No, I'm just saying I'm speaking on stuff I heard. That's all I'm saying. I could be wrong.
Get her whip. Get her whip and she good to go. Her whip and handcuffs.
She ain't deny it. She ain't deny it.
Because
Hey,
she
we're
just
gonna
said
keep
size don't matter.
Yeah.
To me, size matters. I won't lie.
The thing is this,
That's
and
her
Anetta said
fantasy.
it totally. That's the truth.
It's not
There's some folk, and even Christine was in the comments saying, if you're a 2-minute guy, it don't matter how big it is. If you 2 minutes or less, listen. What is it for? What is all that?
Amen.
For? If you
It's
don't
not
know what
about
to do with it.
it's not about the 2 minutes. It's about, can you get it back up? So you may have a 2-minute person, but they can constantly go all night long. That's the key. If he could do 2 minutes and it's over with and it's done, that's where the problem comes.
I'm gonna be turned off, and I'm just gonna be like, no, gotta go.
Yeah.
That sounds like a
minutes, you
bad
gotta-
lawnmower that you
Yeah.
gotta keep
You gotta
up.
keep
Keep starting up because it run out of gas. Keep puttering. Carburetor need cleaning.
Yeah.
That sounds a little frustrating.
Not every 2 minutes.
Need to clean that carburetor.
Every 2 minutes. Not every 2 minutes. Huh?
For 2 minutes, that's just a fictitious thing. Well, it ain't.
Or it's just going too long. I'm like, come on now, let's go. Like,
Yeah, so
many
if
times
you
you
went
get
too
up,
long,
it's your
something
job to
wrong with
knock it
that.
back down.
So,
No matter
fellas,
what.
just suck them damn toes and that's it. That's my closing comment. Suck them damn toes.
I'm trying to tell y'all what helps the marriage. Help you catch a good one.
Closing comments from everybody. Suck them toes.
Oh gosh.
It helps you get a good
My
fish.
closing comment is massage my feet. Don't suck them. Don't suck my toes.
All right, closing comments. Let's go. Let's get it. After everything we talked about, give you closing comments. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. Oh.
Couldn't hear that.
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Shaughnessy.
Go ahead, Shaughnessy.
My closing comments are: don't go out with your single friends on Valentine's Day because you end up being the third wheel and somehow driving their car home. That's my closing comment.
Dang.
I wondered. All of a sudden you was in the car again. I'm like, what's going on?
Yes,
Your
I
single
came out with
friends.
my friends. Yes, I was out with my friend this whole entire time. Then she had
So she got picked
one of the
up
guys
and left you with her car?
One of the guys that she was talking to, we ended up meeting. He ended up meeting us. So then that's when I joined the live. So I joined the live, and they were vibing. I was minding my business, and then at the last place we just went to, she was just like, "You can take my car." And I'm like, what?
Somebody getting it tonight.
Take my car.
Somebody getting it.
Her car, and I'm going home, and I'm just like, how did this happen to me? Like, I don't understand how I
Somebody
get
getting it.
It's okay. You was the plug tonight. It's okay.
Please be safe and hit somebody up and let us know you made it safe. Please be safe.
At least she didn't call you an Uber. At least she didn't call you an Uber and say, "I'll see you later."
I wanted to call me an Uber because what am I going to do with your car? I have to go to work in the morning. So that's going to be her problem.
She's going to have to Uber to go get it.
Yeah, how she go? She going to have to Uber.
Right. No, who she's
it's
with
out of my hands.
Come get it. Hopefully they'll come
exactly.
Bring her there
It's out of my hands, Lord.
Hopefully.
No, just leave them keys in your mailbox and she'll come get the car.
Hopefully,
exactly. But that was my closing comments, Shane.
Oh boy, will bring her to get the car in the morning.
He might bring her tonight.
Not if he's stuck in them damn toes.
Okay, we done.
He might bring her tonight.
No cuddling, no talking.
He might beat her to the house.
You ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get up out of here.
You think you laying here? Now get up.
Right. Get up. Ain't no kissing, ain't no hugging, ain't no spooning. All right, come on, let me take you to go get your car.
Nothing.
You get put out like that, you might as well don't never come back. Like, man,
Be a fool to go back.
yeah, that ain't working.
Happy
4 or 5 o'clock in the
Valentine's Day.
morning, they tapping you like, okay, you gotta go. Like, what?
Your
Shit, I
job
just
is
went to
done
sleep.
here.
I just went
I
to
gotta
sleep.
go to work. What you mean? You
Not
gotta go. I
5
gotta go to
o'clock.
work.
That's almost the sun is almost up. You got to tap them before 5.
Right. That's it. You gotta get up out of here.
Right about
Go ahead
2.
and do that walk of shame.
A real G, you call it in. You call it in that morning.
Oh no, I'm going to work in the morning.
All right.
You sick time.
Who's next?
Who's up?
I would say in the fairness of in the spirit of Valentine's Day, just to love thy neighbors and love thyself. I think that we need more love, just and let people just be who they are, and know that anything that we do, and I think for me, I just say that nothing is out of ill intent or being malicious. It's out of having fun. You know what I mean? So for me, this is all having fun. I enjoy coming to hang out with you guys on Monday nights and share my perspective. Not that I'm always right, but I enjoy hearing your perspectives. So I just want to let everyone know that I have love for you all, and y'all have a lovely night.
Thank you, Lakia.
Thank you.
I'm gonna piggyback on Lakia because I'm like, I must really like you guys to be sitting up on a Valentine's Day night talking to you,
right?
Instead of having me a lobster dinner somewhere.
But you must turn some few folks down, Christine.
Always. But it was well worth it. It's well worth it. Mm-hmm.
Appreciate
and
it.
I'll piggyback on
Happy
Christine.
Valentine's Day to everybody.
Thank you.
I'll
Same
piggyback
to
on
you.
Christine. Happy Valentine's Day to you all and to all the couples. I hope that you are the same amount of love that you are sharing today, that you are sharing tomorrow and days to come.
I hope you have to fall out of bed. Oh, and I'm sorry, go ahead.
And for the single and for the single people, love yourself. Don't be caught up. It was so many people that was so miserable about Valentine's Day. Like really feeling miserable because they ain't have no loved one, no boo up, whatever.
No, literally, that was my friend. That's how I got here. That's how I got
like take care of you. You attract, I keep saying it over and over again. You attract what you are in that point. If you are feeling lonely, you're going to attract somebody who's attempting to fulfill the loneliness of you. So you have to be careful that you learn how to love yourself, take care of yourself. And my key thing that I say to everybody, if you cannot bring anything to the table, don't expect him to bring nothing to the table. You bring to the table a shared wealth.
Respect. Let me. I'm gonna jump in. No, I ain't gonna jump in. I'm gonna wait till the last one. Go ahead.
You last.
I'm going to reference the initial point, the initial talking point that was broached tonight. I have an alter ego. That alter ego daily kills people, maims, and destroys. It's one of the ways I maintain my sanity.
I love it.
He will continue to maim, kill, and destroy people, so I don't have to. And with that said, growth and understanding occurs in the gray area. Godspeed. See you next time.
He just think he cute with that hat on. That's all.
Loving every woman is. Well, I can't help it. You ain't got that swag.
Woo! Okay.
All right, I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go next. Two things for the ladies tonight. Happy Valentine's Day to all the ladies. Another thing, ladies, in a relationship, if your man is doing and taking and providing for you, but he may not be a person that's into Valentine's Day and doesn't give or doesn't celebrate or doesn't acknowledge you with a bunch of whatever, please do not spaz out on that man. Do not spaz out on that man. That's my first part. Second part, no matter how much makeup and hair and everything else you add to that headshot, is still deceiving. Have a good day.
So we still, and I'm gonna keep saying it every time you say that. Every time you say that, Willie, I'm gonna say fitted shirts are deceiving too.
Willie, I feel like that was a personal shot today. Willie, I feel like that was a personal shot today.
Oh, that's a cute
What?
hat.
To who?
To me, because you commented.
Shaughnessy, you was cute on your picture. You was cute.
You was
No,
looking
but
cute.
Willie
I just
commented
didn't
and
recognize
said,
you.
He was trying to throw shade. He was trying to throw a little slot shade.
Yes, it was
I just didn't
definitely
recognize
shade,
you,
but it's
Shaughnessy.
okay.
You was looking
He
cute.
good. Shani, you are beautiful. He good for throwing shade, but he don't like to get it back, boy.
He don't like. Oh, he can't take it now.
Oh no, he like a fat boy that you don't took his cotton candy. He don't like to get it back.
Best emojis
Or
ever
take his
seen.
Debbie cake. Take his damn Debbie cake. Huh?
Then he all quiet sitting there like this. Then he like, I'm not mad. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine. You looking cute, Shawnee. I didn't know that. I didn't recognize you at first.
Yeah, you just making it worse. Who next?
I know you don't know how to just stop.
I like that.
The name says Shaughnessy. You can't miss
You
it.
go, Willie. You gonna have to pick up some of the master barber traits. Sometimes you just gotta be silent.
Just be quiet. Just sit and be quiet in silence. Silence is golden.
So I guess Master Barber is up. Huh?
That's how it sounds.
The master is up.
Man.
Come on, big man.
I look forward to coming to see y'all like every week, man. And it's like every week, man. It's something intriguing. I'm learning something new about everybody in here, man. So I think I got to do more of my homework on toes and toys and all of that. You know what I'm saying? I've been up under a rock. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So,
what the hell?
But whatever floats
not
your boat,
Halloween.
no. It's always a joyful moment when when I come up on here, though, man. It's part of my therapy to help keep me out of trouble. Y'all keep me laughing because it's been a long time that I never got a good laugh. I suffered from depression for like 10 years, man. So this is like therapy. It helps me, man, but it's rehabilitating, and I enjoy it. Yeah, even though I clown with y'all, man, but I look forward to it, though. Y'all real funny, but I am gonna do my homework though.
And we appreciate you, brother.
Good having you,
coming
man.
on.
Definitely good having
And
you.
the stores are still open.
Get a
I
life.
just passed one.
Say that again.
I said the stores are still open tonight. I just passed one.
What, the stores in PA?
The sex toy store.
No, I'm in Virginia Beach. They
Oh.
open. Pink Banana's still open.
Pink banana.
Banana.
God damn.
Banana.
Shaughnessy, you know I ain't never cussed at you as a counselor. Get your ass in the house because you doing too much tonight. For real. No, you heard. Yeah, for real.
Pink banana.
A really good day. I had a really good steak and rib dinner. It was lovely.
Okay.
And
all right.
I came on here. I was missing my nighttime soap operas to come on here with y'all, but I always get a good laugh, even though
This is
sometimes I
soap
feel like
operas.
I have
I was
mental
gonna say
energy.
this is a soap opera.
It really is.
I know,
Ain't no kids in here. Come on, nobody's
but
here.
just keep it real.
One day night reality TV.
Hell yeah. We just need
I
somebody
need Herb.
to
I need
produce
Herb to get a girlfriend. He needs something.
it. Yeah.
For real.
He ain't gonna get no with that thing.
Somebody help him.
Damn, this shit like late night uncut.
Somebody help him.
Why aren't you
Listen.
making me that heart-shaped pizza? Yeah, heart-
I see Lakia represent with the hat. I see you.
She got a
I
little sombrero on.
sometimes, but I got a big head, so sometimes these hats don't fit.
True that. True that. No,
And
Mom,
the
I
extra
have
hair
never
don't help.
found a hat that fits me either.
The extra
So
hair
you're
don't
not
help.
alone.
all right, my closing comment
Banana's supposed to
is
have a fur thing.
Yeah.
I forget what you called it.
Oh, fur challenge. Yes, listen, guys. Let me show y'all. Let me go. Hold on for a second. Hold on.
What is
Go ahead,
it?
Dave. Hit it.
Oh no, she about to.
I know you about to bring out that fur. I saw
That
you in
fur
that
was
fur now.
that fur was nice.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, hey.
No fur. She
But I
killed
had my
somebody's
fur. I was
squirrel.
like, I didn't know if you saw me in my fur too.
Not nobody's squirrel.
Goddamn squirrel coat.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to throw some shade.
You on some Foxy Brown? You on some Foxy Brown type shit tonight?
This was my birthday gift for myself. You know, you got to
Okay,
check
that's
this
what I'm
out.
talking about.
Nice. Stand up.
Yeah, real nice.
We don't want
No,
to
I
see no
can't.
headshot. Stand up. No headshot. Stand up.
First of all, every picture I put up is full body, honey. So you're not making that comment to me.
Oh,
I was.
I got the hat to go with.
I saw the headshot.
The hat would go perfect with that.
Oh, come on. Oh, I'm here in Niagara Falls. You can bring the hat to me, honey.
Pulling up with all the hats.
I'm at the casino hotel chilling.
I figured that's where you were.
Oh yeah, that's a nice hotel. I like.
Yeah, I like to. You know, I'm making it a once a week time to. I have to get my book done.
Yes.
Right.
What you say, Shaughnessy? You want an invite to the Cataract City?
yes. Yes.
You better come on.
To the casino hotel.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta hook up. We gotta hook
I don't
up.
got no
Come
kids
on,
tonight.
let's
either.
go.
I was nice and available.
Wow.
Nice coat.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's nice.
Nice
Yeah,
hat
I
with
saw that.
you. All right. So my closing comment, and it reminded me of one of my students today. She's so annoying, but she always comes see me, and she was like, "Man, Mr. Glover, sixth grader." It's like I ain't getting no Valentine's gifts today, whatever. Why I ain't getting no gifts, whatever? And I was like, "It'll come. It's like, nah, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to wait till next year because in middle school they all got their little teddy bears and their little bags and all that stuff. And she was like, "She's a cute little girl," but she was like, "Man, I don't understand why I don't got anything." I said, maybe you gotta do right. You gotta do right. You gotta treat people kind, whatever. And it's just funny that how people get caught up and it start off at that age, and then you still have grown people that still have attitudes or upset about it. Because somebody came at me behind a post today and talking about, "Oh, you diverted back to your usual patterns, and you could have just came on today and wished all the women happy Valentine's Day, so your approach is not going to get you anyone." I said, I have no problem getting a woman. Like, who are you to tell the advice, whatever? Don't you know this is what I do? This is what I do to try to stir the pot. But it's just funny that even at a young age, the development, that the expectations
Valentine's
that
Day.
people think that they supposed to get something, and she's questioning like, "Well, I'm cute and all that stuff. Why didn't I get anything?" So maybe it's just not your time. It's not your time right now.
Wait till
Next
she get
year,
older.
I'm
She's gonna
sure
be
get
worse.
something. Yeah. Man, so it's wild. But overall, we did good. I tried to stick with the 3-minute timer thing. That's just not me. And we just gotta respect what we say. Keep it cordial. Nobody dominate the conversation. Evidently, we didn't say enough. The YouTube crew must be with someone celebrating Valentine's. I know BGS stopped in here for a minute, but the boys must be cuddled up with somebody because they wouldn't here tonight.
Figure they are.
Yeah, huh?
Well, BGS is on West Coast time. He's 3 hours behind us. He's out in LA.
It doesn't stop him any other time.
No, he popped in for a minute, but I'm saying the whole crew. They
celebrate. I mean,
must be.
They boo loving. Ain't nobody.
They got a Valentine tonight.
I'm happy because I didn't think some of them had a woman.
So I'm gonna say this to them guys. I'm gonna say this to this guys. Y'all boo loving with single women?
Oh,
where y'all at?
That's fine.
Where
See,
y'all at?
making now y'all putting it in my head. Never mind. Let me stop.
Now go ahead, Sean.
David, you being petty.
Well, okay, I said petty the new thing. Petty is the new thing to be.
Why is petty the new thing?
Petty.
Yeah, it's the new thing to do. Why not? Get
Patty
entertainment.
No, you know the funny thing, I was in BGS. BGS has this video. I tell you, I be on the like going for the smoke with these guys, and I think I cracked through a little bit today in the comments.
Actually, speaking of which, the Counselor's Corner was actually mentioned in a podcast or in the uplink that BGS did. So acknowledgement to BGS for that shout out as well.
Which one? A
Yeah.
recent one? A
I
recent one?
have to go back and track it down, but he was talking about I can't remember what he was covering, but he was talking about how certain aspects of information when given is always questioned.
Because well, we gonna go into what the topic was, but he was actually not happy about another guy that was coming against their ideologies and about Black women. And so I commented because what the guy was saying actually held a lot of truth in my mind. And so they all came for me for saying that. But they, you know, I can
you
take
open
it.
up doors.
I've been opening the door.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying you gonna be that villain. You that villain. And but that's okay though. That's okay. That's okay. You're gonna start.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, yo, let me buy this house from that. That's that one that be on BGS stuff. She about that life. You're gonna start getting more house sales and all that stuff.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you
good. Bad
whatever,
publicity. Any publicity is good publicity.
True that. It is. It is. Unfortunately, it is. And I've been trying to hold back whatever because of my counseling role, whatever. But I'd be like, man, the hell with this stuff. The school system is all chaotic. So I might as well just get buck wild. But I still be trying to hold back. But it's it's people that work with me like, yo, that's the controversial counselor. Some of the kids are starting to know about it too. So, and I don't be wanting them to know like that.
Oh, they don't need to be listening.
Yeah.
No, they haven't got on to this point yet. But one of my co-workers, he always telling them like, yo, yeah, I think Mr. Glover quiet and all this. He wrote books. He got a podcast and all that. And it's a boys thing. We got this whole boys group. It's usually the girls that want to be like, okay, we gonna look into them. Them boys, they ain't thinking about nothing. You remember at that age, and even as we get older, girls develop faster than boys. So that's not even their mindset to even Google about me. But if it was a girl, they'd be all on that. But that's just the way it is. But appreciate you all. Thank you all for joining. I didn't know how. I thought y'all was gonna be whining and dining. Can y'all toe suck tonight with strawberries or whatever the case is? Whatever. Y'all showed up. We still had a full house. We had a full house.
Had to settle for yesterday. Side Chicks Day. So.
Side Chicks Day.
Oh, that's no. I thought Side Chicks Day is
tomorrow
on 15th.
It's not the 14th.
So if you get taken out on the 14th, what is that? I mean, on the 13th, what is that?
That's the day before and day after.
Yeah.
That's
both the side chick day.
So the side chick day when you get that old ass candy, and when you the guy, you get
the half price
air
candy.
fresheners and all that stuff, and grab bags of chips.
I don't know how valid that really is, because you have somebody take you out today and there's no, it's no meaningful attentions. You just sometimes people just hook up to just go out.
That's true. That is
So
very
to me,
true.
it means more when it's a random day out of nowhere.
It's right.
Like, whoa, I wasn't even expecting this. I had a rough
Or
week.
it means
and
more
we did this.
It would mean more if like a person took off that day and actually paid attention to that day instead of Side Chicks Day,
Side chick,
but
side dude day, all of this stuff is crazy. All right, good people. Y'all be safe, be good. Drop me some talking points. And so we can build the show for on Monday.
It quite reminds Wanda to know how many cats Herb has and why he brings them on the podcast to say hi.
I know, because we're supposed to be the women with cats, right?
That's our next talking point.
Well, I can answer that in real short for you. Go look at what they say about men who have pets, specifically cats. Let me know.
I'll look. I will look.
What?
Go look up what they say about men who own pets, specifically cats.
Okay. They don't have no mice.
Somebody,
They don't have no mice.
somebody, hold on. He's giving y'all homework. Somebody drop a post in the counselor corner with that meme about men with and drop a post.
Okay, I'm gonna
definitely
respectfully decline for that because I care less. I don't even like cats.
I don't either, but I want to know.
You just want to be difficult
Is it
with
the
your
same
fur
nice
coat on.
She petty.
Petty.
I like your cat, sir.
She petty, but that's okay. I rise above the pettiness. I don't sink to those rivers.
And I know one thing, Shaughnessy better be in that house with that onesie on right now.
I'm in the house. I got my headscarf on. I am about to get in the shower. I'm in the house, okay?
Okay. All right. We out of here, good people. Appreciate you all. Love y'all all. See y'all.
Good night,
next time.
everybody.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good
Good night.
Peace, everybody.